We'll just hang out till Rylan gets here, and then we'll get started. Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is.
Hello.
Right on cue. How's it going, Rylan?
Not bad. Yourself?
Your mic's a little low, man. Is there any way you can maybe raise the volume a bit?
Is it better now?
Yeah, it sounds better. I was just looking at you, Matt.
A little bit more if you can.
Let's see here. Is it better now?
Oh, that sounds better.
Much better.
Okay, perfect. All right.
Give us like 4 bars just to like make sure that it sounds fantastic.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you know what? Do the Verizon man commercials. Like, can you hear me now? Just say it a few times.
I'm not ready for that.
All right.
Also, you do not have to do anything Vince asks you to do on the show. So there is that.
It's just a recommendation. It's just a suggestion. They're always just suggestions, obviously. But obviously, you're more than welcome to titillate the juices of my guilty pleasures by obliging me. You know.
I agree. Why is Vince in the middle? Thank you,
Vince, because I'm Vince in the middle. Just don't call me mom.
But I'm the only girl.
Okay, so you want to be in the middle. You want to be the center of attention. Sure, I got you, Katie.
Yeah. It's 1/3 my show. Of course I do.
Oh, it's 1/3 your show. Yes. Correct.
She's got the sucker out for a reason, man. Like,
yeah.
No, this is to keep me awake because I'm exhausted. I need something.
You need the sugar intake.
So, Vince has told me that Rylan, you are familiar with what you got into tonight, and Kyle is not.
Yeah, a little bit. Like I watched a few episodes today to try and get myself mentally prepared.
Okay.
The first time I've ever been on Pornhub without having a specific reason to be there.
I mean, this is a very specific reason to be here.
That's true. It was watching tape. I was getting ready for the big game.
Pre-gaming is what you were doing.
I never thought I'd make my debut on Pornhub with my cousin, though. That's
you know what? It's a genre, Rylan. It's a genre, and
true. It's all the rage with the kids.
Yeah. It's what the kicks are.
They call them categories, Vince.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, I have some idea what I'm getting into.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'll explain it for Kyle once we get into the show, but
do you want me to start the intro now, or do you want to give it a minute?
You want to wait till 11:20 on the dot?
Yeah, let's wait until 11:20 on the dot. I'll just patiently wait. Look at my clock. The minute it changes, I'll play it.
Well, I'm proud of you, Vince. You can read clocks.
No, it's not as easy as one might think. You know,
It's pretty.
there are a
easy.
lot of variables in place here.
Variables.
Is it a 12-hour clock? Is it a 24-hour
It's 11:20
clock?
is what it is.
No, I listen to it all the time. I tell all my friends to smack it raw.
Following podcast contains mature content. The views and opinions expressed by the host are not necessarily those of the host. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Smackin Raw podcast, where you're never sure if it's a standing 69 or a tombstone pile driver. I am your host, the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Matt Ritter, and I'm here with my co-host this evening. She is the shaman of She Lead, host of the She Lead Showcase, host of Inside of Mind, host of Inside the Mind of, host of what is that show that you don't do anymore?
Fuck you, in the crowd.
In the crowd as well. She is the hardest working woman in wrestling podcasting today, Miss Katie Kinsey Bay.
A.
And I am so confident that something is about to happen that I am going to, during the show, not like right now, but like something is going to happen during the show, that I am willing to give someone, one of you two, a point if it doesn't happen. That's how confident I am that it's going to happen.
Oh man!
Before we do
oh
that,
man! Oh man! Oh.
He is my co-host. He is my friend. He is the Sultan of Spitter Swallow. He is Daddy Delgado. Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Thank you for having me back on the show. I don't know why I answered that as a guest and not a co-host. What's up, man? What's up, Matt? Not much, man. I'm doing good. Glad to be back.
And Vince does not get the point. So,
what's the point?
Before I started this episode, I told Vince, you book the guests, you get to introduce them.
Yeah, but I
introduced you.
Yes, and
then we paused, and you did not introduce the guests. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the Wednesday Night Wallop podcast, AEW recap aficionados, we have Rylan and Kyle.
Good evening.
It's good to be here, guys.
Yeah. I'm glad to have you guys on here. Honestly, Matt, this has actually been a long time coming. I've been trying to get both the guys from Wednesday Night Wallop to do a show. I went back all the way back in my Smack Raw days, and we finally got it to do it on the A+ show, Smackin' Raw podcast, making their Pornhub debut. I've been a guest on this show so many times. We've done the quiz show. We've done like recaps, everything. Like I've done Ryland sports show. So like this is a blast. This is a treat. I'm giddy like a schoolgirl, guys. Glad to have you guys on here.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
I'm glad that you made this happen because it's nice having fresh new faces on the podcast to come do what we do here. And what do we do here? For anyone who's a Wednesday Night Wallop fan who is like, what the fuck is this Pornhub podcast and why are they here? We spit or swallow the week in wrestling. So the way the show works is I will run down news and rumors, and then after that, I'm going to go around the room this week specifically to Rylan, Kyle, Vince, and then Katie, and I will ask them a very specific question, spit or swallow, and they will tell me either swallow something they liked and something that they liked from the week in wrestling that they watched, or spit something they didn't like. And we'll just keep going around until either everyone runs out or I decide that, the show's going on too long and I end it. So, whichever comes first. News and rumors. Let's get into it. Vince, can you put the news and rumors thing up?
Yes. Go ahead, man.
There you go. Okay. Apparently, Brad Maddox has been married for 15 years. And if you do the math, something in his life happened that there was video evidence of that you would not think a married man would do or have out on the internet. Now, I will say this. As a sex-positive podcast, we are on Pornhub, so on and so forth. I understand that there are open relationships. I understand that there are swingers and all sorts of things that could be going on. I just did not expect to read that Brad Maddox had been married for 15 years and had 2 children, and then go back and do the math and realize all the other stuff that he did during that time.
Yeah.
I'm not going to touch that. I'll let y'all.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to touch Brad Maddox tonight?
No. We're not
never.
no.
My man Brad Maddox is permanent couch bound right now.
Probably. Also, Teddy Long got hacked and then blocked and then made a t-shirt. Or hacked and then blocked a bunch of people and then made a t-shirt to commemorate this occasion and make himself trending for a little while. So shout out to Teddy for that. And I was one of the few people that did not get blocked. Anyone else here not get blocked?
I didn't.
Get blocked. Rylan, Kyle, did you guys even check?
No.
I checked. No, we're small fries right now. So,
yeah.
We'll get there eventually. I will get blocked.
Why the fuck am I the only one that got blocked then?
I mean,
what did I even do?
Okay, Vince,
have you ever made fun of a tag match?
Have you ever made fun of a tag match or going one-on-one with The Undertaker?
No, I've never. I've
Probably
been
has.
proponents of tag matches and undertaking.
Undertaking. I
All right, listen, Vince. I have a specific question for you because I have a feeling this is going to come up later. When you
Yes.
talked to Young Kings Wrestling's TC and you asked him if he would be all right with us using sound bites so that we weren't kind of copying what they do over there because they're good friends of ours. We're very close.
Yeah.
Did you tell them that you were going to use sound bites from their fucking show?
Well, this I didn't. This is the only one I got. This is the only one I got,
Okay.
as far as I know. There's one soundbite that they let me borrow. They just let me borrow one specific soundbite, so I got a
Well,
bless you.
technically, I'm upset is theirs. So if they didn't let you borrow it, you stole that one.
So I guess you could say there.
I'm upset.
So it fits.
they're gonna fight
I had
you.
nothing to do with this Rican TC. I apologize ahead of time.
If it's
No,
an
that's
issue,
all Vince.
if it's an issue, I won't include that one going forward.
Anyway,
Carry on.
in sadder news, we found out today that Antonio Inoki passed away. So shout out to the family of Antonio Inoki. Also, New Japan and everyone else that's wrestled and worked with him. He's a WWE Hall of Famer. It's very sad news. So
Very. It's but I'm glad that they addressed it on SmackDown. So that was nice to see. Like they worked fast to like create that banner thing, which I'm sure it shouldn't take too long, but still, it's nice to see.
Word legend doesn't even describe.
Yeah, no kidding.
yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the meat and potatoes of the show.
Okay, well,
Rylan, let's kick it off. Spit or swallow?
Spit.
All right.
Spit.
What are you spitting?
What's your first spit of the week, man?
You sounded so confident that you were like, I've got something.
It's hard. The whole Soraya promo.
Okay.
All right.
It was rough. It was really
Speaking
really
of
rough.
Maddox.
Yeah. I have a feeling that was gonna come back. No, it was rough. I was super excited to see her come back. I was home in Winnipeg to see it with Kyle. We popped huge. It was great, but it was not what you want to see on that first promo back. I think anyway. And it just felt like a really awkward segment. I'm happy they got time. That was awesome. But even on commentary, it felt spit worthy.
that's,
Oh, go ahead, Katie.
I was gonna say that's very true. I mean, putting all your women in one segment kind of fucking sucks, but it did lead to, I think it was like a 20-30 minute match between Deeb and Tony, which I will take.
Yeah,
I thought it was
But
like more like 12 minutes.
it ended with a pile driver off the second rope, and that was super dope. So that was
Exactly.
great. But yeah, just that segment just.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna do the CM Punk move and change the game here. I think I'm gonna have to gargle this. I don't know that I can spit it. I don't know that I can swallow it. I want to see more women's wrestling in AEW, and if we're throwing all of this out, then I don't know if we're. Sorry, I'm just reading puns in the feed as we go. If we're throwing out all of this stuff, at very least, they're getting some time, which we haven't been able to say before, at least for a while. There's been a long history of, especially on Dynamite, women not getting time and having a very specific block where they get 5 minutes to go, and but what can you do in that amount of time? So this was at least something. It was at least time, but yeah, I'm gargling for now.
I mean, you picked up the whole concept of this podcast probably faster than anyone else. So props to you, Kyle. I'm with you on that because here's my deal. Yes, the promo was clunky. No, it was not fantastic. Yes, she tripped over her words. Yes, she's rusty because she hasn't been in front of a TV and cut a non-scripted promo in fucking forever.
Sure.
But if we shit on this, then it's just going to justify all the things that they say about how people don't like women's wrestling and it's not worth the time. So you can't shit all over this because then they're not going to give us more. And the only way for this to get better is for the women to get more time and be utilized more. So I can't full on spit this. Plus, we, like you said, we got that fantastic fucking match, so I can't full on spit this. So I'm gonna gargle with Kyle.
The only thing I'm spitting about it. The only thing I'm spitting about it is the little subtle jabs at WWE, and I'm gonna sound like a WWE shill here, like, but it's like it's annoying because it's like, girl, like WWE had your back, like they supported you. Like it'd be one thing if they treated her like shit, but they didn't.
Did you read what she tweeted though, where she said, "Me saying having a boss that finally listens to me doesn't mean I don't appreciate everything WWE did."
No, I didn't,
or how they treated me.
No, because I have page blocked. That's why.
Oh well.
Well,
Yeah, no. Name. Again, her saying it's nice to have a boss that finally listens to me doesn't necessarily mean she didn't appreciate everything that WWE did for her. And that's a stance that a lot of wrestling fans took that I didn't even understand. Like, I didn't get that. It's like, all she's saying is she had ideas. She brought them to Vince, and Vince was like, no, I don't like that, or I don't want to hear that shit. Like, it is what it is. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate the money that they gave me, that they paid me when I was hurt, all the things, like that she hated the time that she was there. She didn't say any of that. She's just like, it's nice to have a boss that actually listens to me now. And we know that Vince does have a habit of saying, yeah, come in and tell me. And then he'll be like, no, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that. And he doesn't listen to people. And she thought she had great ideas that he didn't listen to. So,
yeah,
and you're
it's
going
fair.
to,
Okay, it's fair.
You're going to take shots.
Within that context, okay, fine. That's fair. But me personally, it felt like poor taste. But the way you're explaining it, all right, you know what? I'll gargle with you the promo because it led to the match, and if it does lead to better women's wrestling, then fine, let's do it. Let's have that some more.
So it left a bad taste in your mouth, but you're still going to gargle it.
You got to, man. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay if it tastes bad from time to time.
All right. Kyle, spit or swallow?
I'm gonna swallow Chris Jericho having amazing matches in the year of our Lord 2022.
I liked you. I really did.
We're from Winnipeg. You can't. No, we're from Winnipeg.
Look.
Vince, who did you bring on?
This guy stinks.
If you did not see the match this week between him and Bandito, it was very, very good. And I will admit, Bandito's probably doing a lot of the heavy lifting in this particular match, and he is very, very talented. But I'm just saying, I'm not talking about Chris Jericho doing like the best. He's not doing the best work of his life, obviously, but he is still an impressive wrestler. He can still go all this many years later. I think it's impressive.
I'm only going to disagree with you, Kyle, just for the simple fact that I feel like I have to be true to myself and the character that I've built up on the show. And because Jericho opened up Dynamite, I'm spitting all of Dynamite minus the women's section. Everything getting spat because the minute Jericho's music hit, I'm like, click. And I don't give a fuck what Warren Hayes says. I'm going to go ahead and spit the entire show because I'm spitting Jericho's existence. If you start the show with Jericho, I am not going to watch the show. Look, I'll acknowledge the man has done some fantastic things, and he's from Winnipeg. He's your hometown dude. You gotta support him. I get it. I'm also from Chicago, so support to CM Punk, even though he's a total dick sometimes. So I get it. You have to support a dick sometimes. But as my gimmick, I have to spit Jericho, especially because he beat Bandito. So
Here's the thing. I'm not supporting the man. I am supporting the wrestling. That's all I'm saying. Here's the thing. Especially in this business, if we have to support every person who's out there doing good work, it's going to be it's going to be a hard time. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I'm still spitting Jericho, man.
That's
fair. So I've got nothing on the match. However, Luigi Primo and Anna Jay get a swallow. Everything else gets spit up until Daniel Garcia getting embarrassed and then attacking Jericho or getting ready to attack Jericho, Daniel Bryan coming down. All of that I enjoyed. So because he's part of this, I have to go with that. I guess I have to give Jericho a little bit of swallow. he is helping get Daniel Garcia over and pushing him forward, and hopefully Garcia is the one that beats him for the Ring of Honor title. So I will give him at least that little bit of credit. But that's about as far as I can go.
That's fair.
He gets nothing. He gets nothing. Not a damn thing. I fucking can't stand Chris Jericho taking up all this goddamn TV time with him and the Jagoffs. Big shout out to Anna Jay and Tay Mello for looking beautiful in those suits, though, because goddamn, they're rocking better than everyone else there. What?
I was going to say, for those of you who don't know, Jagoff stands for Jericho Appreciative, Group of Fine Fellows.
Yes.
Okay.
Jericho's Appreciative Group of Fine Fellows.
Yeah.
We should put that on a t-shirt.
Also, shout out to Ty for seeing a box of pizza and being like, I'm having some pizza.
That would literally, if I had to deal with Chris Jericho, I would just be eating pizza the whole time. I wouldn't even want to be there. Like, I can't. I really can't. My co-host who is in the chat loves Chris Jericho. I cannot stand him.
She is being forceful. There's no consent. I do not consent to swallowing Jericho. And she's like, you're gonna swallow Jericho and you're gonna like it. That doesn't sound okay. Katie, you need to get Savannah in check because that's not okay. That's not healthy behavior.
First of all, she's grown. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. And we're not on my show. So, no. You're going to swallow Jericho and you're going to like it, apparently, Vince.
No, fuck all that.
Shout out to Jesus, Savannah, Bakley, Allison, and Travis, who may have left. Everyone in the chat tonight. We appreciate you. And if Tim doesn't show up, he's on my shit. He's on my list. So Bakley, let him know. He said he was going to be here. He better fucking be here. Vince, spit or swallow.
Okay, I think the biggest swallow of the whole week is the return of the Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae, showing up on Monday Night Raw, having a match with Nikki ASH, Jesus. Fumbling over my words, I'm so flustered at the fact that I saw Candice LeRae back on wrestling. And if you saw after the match, Nikki Cross looked like she took off her mask. She was like defeated. Like, I think that could lead to something where it could like have her become her next character or something, or like a mixture of like Nikki Cross or like a dialed down version of it. So I like what that implied, what that led for Nikki. And then she also had a conversation with Bayley, which that's a dream match of mine. Bayley versus Candice LeRae. So just seeing her, I love it. That's my biggest swallow of the whole week. I know there's a second one, but I'm saving that for Matt. Yeah, I'm saving that one specifically for Matt.
Katie and I talked about this. Both of us saw like Poison Pixie on the Titantron music play, but like it took a minute for our brains to compute as to what the fuck was actually going on.
I was so shook. I like malfunctioned.
Our brains.
So I was like, there's no shot. There's no fucking way Candice is here. Oh my god, it's Candice LeRae. I lost my mind. I love women's wrestling and I love Candice. So the fact that she's back and she's more than likely going to be on Team Bianca for War Games, and that means we can possibly get crazy Nikki Cross back to join Damage Control, so that way it's 4-4. It works out perfectly for everybody.
I like that.
Katie, this is why I always bring you on Straight Talk to do fantasy booking shows. Like,
I'm a fucking genius, I know.
You're an evil genius. I love it. I like it because I feel like Candice can replace Bianca because if they're still going to do brand versus brand, which they never said they weren't going to do. Okay, look.
They're probably good. It would make the most sense, though. Like, that's the women's feud you have right now that has multiple women involved.
Now. Yes,
but
right
you're
now.
Not going to have... Do you see the time? They're not going to have enough fucking time to do this, a good War Games match, and try and build other people? No.
Survivor Series, that's in November. They got 2 months. They've done more with
1
less
month.
time.
It is October here. They have 1 month. But
I
no,
still got 20 minutes until it's October.
This makes the most sense. You have Io, Dakota. Well, Dakota wasn't really in the War Games. She kind of just fucked up Deegan Knox. But Io, Candice in War Games, bring Rhea in too. Rhea and Candice were on the first winning team for War Games, and have Rhea be the fourth for Damage Control.
So
having people with
It'll
experience.
probably be Nikki Cross with the way things are going. I'm thinking Nikki will be number
Exactly.
4 for them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm thinking that. I agree with that. But my idea is like you can still do Bianca versus Liv or Bianca versus Ronda, depending on how that goes to Extreme Rules, and then have Candice be the one because like Bayley's going to challenge for the title, but obviously she's not going to win it. They could pivot very quickly and subtly to Candice versus Bayley, and then have Bayley like go back to Bianca later down the line, similarly to what they did with Seth and Bobby Lashley last week, where it was just a quick pivot, but then they went right back to he who shall not be named. And I'm not talking about Dexter Lumis. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just a thought. I just still want to I still want to get champion versus champion. You know, as much as I can.
That Roman versus Roman match is gonna be fire.
It's just gonna be him and
match will be great.
No. It's just gonna be Roman in the middle of the ring, just jerking himself off, and then, like that's gonna be himself. That's all that's gonna happen. There you go.
Damn it.
What? Who the fuck do you think you are?
Do you see what he is? This man is drunk with power.
I'm not drunk with power. What are you talking about? It seemed like you were doing
Katie.
something, so I'm like, let me help pivot the show.
Well, yeah, because you
It's
talk a
magic.
lot, so I thought I had a second. Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm going, since we kind of brought her up, I'm going to swallow EO versus Bianca. Because,
Good match.
bro,
Great match.
we've seen it before, I think, in some aspect in NXT, but these are two of the best women on the roster, point blank, period, and slapped. It did everything it needed to do. It's continuing this basically blood feud at this point between the three of them and Bianca, Bliss, Asuka, and Damage Control. That's all I need. Women wrestling and taking up as much time as they fucking want.
Oh yeah. Fantastic. Like, didn't Damage Control get like 3 or 4 separate segments, individual segments throughout Raw, and then also showed up on SmackDown? Like, they're everywhere. They're the bloodline of the women's division.
Well, they're the female Shield, so
That too. They're just a dominant faction. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shout out to factions.
Shout out to
Factions are
factions.
great.
That's something you never say, Kyle.
That's
I'm the faction guy.
Wait, are you trying to say that Ron's not a faction guy?
No, he
You
knows
not
full
believe in
well I am.
factions?
No, he knows full well I am. We have this argument every time we play 2K together.
All right,
I've got 40 factions.
40 factions. All the factions. Just give me all the factions.
So you're AEW.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
That makes sense.
That's okay.
to me. I get
It makes sense. It makes sense. It all makes sense.
And back to Ryland, spit or swallow, sir.
I'm it's gonna be more Chris Jericho, but I really loved that opening segment. Listen, I know that there's a lot of flack with him getting the Ring of Honor title, but
yeah.
if he's gonna use it to put young guys over or have great matches like me and Kyle think he has, then I have no problem with it. The show itself doesn't have a TV deal. If they want to keep it relevant, keep it on TV. I didn't necessarily want Claudio having the belt taken away from him, but like if you have an idea with Jericho, and I think the idea could eventually lead to Garcia maybe getting the title down the road or whatever it ends up being, like Jericho's a big star. And I'm not just saying that because I'm from his hometown, and again,
you are.
I don't. It's a little bit of that. It's a little bit of that. But no, like it was one of those moments too where like me and Kyle really liked Dynamite this week. Last week we didn't really care about it. Like we thought that the Jericho moment was cool, and Saraya was cool. Saraya. They've corrected us.
Please say it correctly.
Saraya.
But other than that, we pretty much shit on the show. But Jericho is always going to be something, or at least right now. I don't know. I think he's having a really great year, and this is just kind of like the culmination of it for me. I'm excited for him and Danielson in Toronto. I think that's going to be a hot crowd. So I'm going to swallow that opening segment with Chris Jericho and the match. I'll take it all.
I actually So what I do, and this is kind of how I knew that Vince was going to fuck up the intro and not introduce you guys, is on my way home, I practice all of the intros that I do, right? And while I'm doing that, I'm listening to podcasts, and I was actually listening to your guys' latest podcast, which dropped today, which everyone should go check out, where you talked about how you guys, didn't really like most of the show and all of that. But yeah, absolutely go check that out because I was listening to that. But as I was doing that, I got to the point to where I was doing the introductions, and I paused after I introduced Vince so he could. I'm like, he's not going to fucking do it. I'm going to have to do it. Just watch.
It's true.
Okay, the way that it processed in my head was he's introducing me, and I was like, Vince, why don't you introduce our guest? I don't know. I thought you were gonna throw
what's
me
weird
in
to me though?
an alley-oop or something.
Like, not to get off subject. You know what's weird to me though? Like,
yes,
you wait to get prompted to introduce people after I say you've got to introduce them. Yet for whatever reason, you don't wait to get prompted to just tell Katie to move on with the show when you're not hosting.
I don't listen. I don't answer to him.
I guess you could say I got a little overly excited is all. That's all. That's all it is, guys.
Okay.
Got a little overexcited. It happens, Everybody gets a little too excited and just like
Kyle Spitter Swallow.
We're gonna keep it Canadian here. I'm swallowing everything that Sami Zayn is doing right now.
Yes.
More Sammy in the bloodline. I want more. I want him and the bloodline in War Games.
Yes, I think we're heading down that path, thankfully.
The direction we're going. And I think it's great. I think I'm very interested to see where they go with this. Because you feel like he's going to get kicked out eventually, but who's going to be the person who's going to do it? Is it going to be Jay? Is it going to be Roman? I'm excited to see because I feel like for a while, as much as I enjoyed Sami Zayn's WrestleMania match, as ridiculous as it was, I did get a kick out of it last year. I really do miss Sammy NXT Sammy a little bit.
Yes.
And I would really love to see. I don't know if he has that kind of match left in him, but if he does, I would really love to see him get a 20-minute shot at Jey Uso or a title shot at Roman. I don't think he's going to beat Roman, obviously, but I feel like
I think he should, man.
Those two would have a great match. Or if you were going to have somebody snap Sami Zayn out of this, have it be Kevin Owens.
So I have a couple theories to that. One being that, and I know Katie heard me say this. I don't remember what group chat I said it in, but Solo Sikoa is siding with Sammy to drive the bloodline apart so that way he can get revenge for them leaving him behind. And the whole reason his name is Solo Sikoa. So he knows that Jay hates Sammy. That's why he's sided with Sammy. That's why they're all buddy-buddy. That's why he helped him beat AJ Styles on Monday so that AJ could get stomped by the Sexecutioners, Judgment Day. Why they were hanging out, they had their tag match. Also, I'm swallowing everything that happened between Jay and Sammy tonight on SmackDown backstage. That was all fantastic. So that is one theory. The other theory is we saw a little interaction tonight between KO and Sammy. Maybe this is some crazy, evil Canadian scheme that they've cooked up where Sammy's infiltrating the bloodline so that KO can get his shot that he said he wanted at Roman, or that they can take down the Usos and take the tag team titles off them.
I don't know. There's a bad idea in that collection.
I don't hate it, but I'm not like, I'm not into the idea of like that being Solo. I just want Sammy to like get like that Kofi Daniel Bryan moment, and then eventually like maybe Jace should be the one to like leave first since he was the first one to join, and he's the one that with the resentment with the whole Sammy stuff.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Listen, his name is Solo Sikoa. His whole story was he's the street champ who got left behind and left out of bloodline. Then they brought him up. It makes perfect sense, and I've been saying this. If anyone should be the one to go up from that bloodline and challenge Roman, it should be Solo. Secondly, if Sammy wins anything, it's not going to be against Roman. He's not beating Roman for that championship, as much as I love Sammy. However, Sammy and KO taking out the Usos and KO getting that tag team championship that he wanted would be fantastic. And also, just imagine the pure shock in everyone's face when you realize that this whole time, Sammy has been the one trying to drive the bloodline apart and cause problems. And it's not that he's getting kicked out, but he's turning on them when everyone expects him to get kicked out.
I mean, Jey Uso's got hella PTSD, so we're just kind of waiting for the snapping point when he just pops off on everybody, and that's going to lead to him and Jimmy somehow losing the titles. To who? I don't know yet. But it's gonna lead to that. You can see it in the background. Sammy might be the main focus of the bloodline right now, as he should be, because he brought new life to the bloodline.
Yes.
But watch Jey Uso in the background every time they're on screen. That man has the most pissed off face 9 times out of 10. He got cut off by Roman last week. Was screaming at Sammy to take his shirt off, the bloodline shirt. Was so eager to rip that shirt off that man.
Maybe
he just wanted to, I think he just really wanted to see Sammy take his shirt off. Is all.
No, the fervor with which Jey strips Sammy is the fervor with which Jesus is going to strip you when he comes back to Chicago. Because the only person I ever want to see someone stripped more than Jey wanted to see Sammy stripped that shirt is Jesus in the chat.
Yeah, Jesus every week. Wait, actually, this is the first time this week.
This is why I'm proud. See, this is what you call prompting, Vince. See, I say it, and then he'll be in the chat talking about it. That's how interaction with the crowd works.
Leading.
Keep hanging out here. I'll teach you things. I got you.
I was just about to say, sure you were.
Vince, spit or swallow.
Speaking of Sami Zayn, let's go back to Monday Night Raw and the fantastic match that I thought he had with AJ Styles. I thought they had a really good match. Sami Zayn still goes in the ring, Kyle. Like you were saying, I think he can still perform fantastically. It's just that with this heel role that he isn't now, he's more kind of like a chicken shit heel. And if you just let him be a little bit more dominant or resilient, like he was with NXT or his initial call up with WWE, we forget he had a banger of a match with John Cena, banger after banger. That's who Sami Zayn is, But
that's who Sheamus is. Wrong redhead.
I think it might be a redhead thing. That's why Katie always drops fantastic episodes. Isn't Katie a redhead too? No.
That's such a turn.
You met her in person.
My hair is dark red. Yes, I'm not a
right
ginger.
now.
Exactly.
What is your natural hair color?
My natural hair color is brown.
Yes, you're a brunette.
Yeah,
so
I'm a brunette.
But she's a redhead now. She's a redhead now.
Calling you technically a redhead would be like saying Eva Marie's a redhead. Eva Marie's not a redhead.
She is.
That's not how that works.
Technically. Why'd you bring up Eva Marie though, man? Come on, that's uncalled for.
Because that was the first person with really fucking red hair that popped into my mind. That's not real.
Yeah. I don't hate gingers, Bakley.
Bakley is one. And Bakley does drop banger after banger. So shout out to Bakley.
And I don't hate gingers. Hello, Bakley.
Anyone else got anything on Sammy versus AJ?
No.
Hell of a night.
All right.
Yeah, they're both very good.
Agreed. Spit or swallow.
This is for you, Matt. I'm just spitting Riddle's existence. And the fact that he won a match. Who let this man win? Who's letting him win matches? Who said it? Why are we gonna let this happen? He needs to get his ass beat. Beat by Seth in that fight pit. Shut him up for good. He's the reason Randy's still out because he had to carry that goddamn tag team for so fucking long. That's why Randy's back is in severe pain still. Fuck Matt Riddle. That's all I gotta say.
I agree 100%. You all know over here it is hashtag Ritter over Riddle. However, I will swallow the fact that he got stomped after the match, and that also this led to Edge coming out. Not good for his neck, by the way. Terrible idea. Listen, your neck is one move away from just being completely destroyed, and the curse of Riddle is real, bro. Do not throw your lot in with him. Nothing good has ever happened for anyone who has teamed up with Matt Riddle. Randy Orton may never wrestle again. There are a lot of questions about his back. if you look at the history of all Riddle's tag team partners in WWE, no one is doing well. Edge, for your own safety, for the future of you spending and doing things with your kids, don't fucking do this.
I think my favorite thing about the Riddle curse that you said was that like Pete Dunne is now Butch. I think that's my favorite one you've ever said. It's like the curse of Matt Riddle. You were gonna say something else though, Matt?
I'm also swallowing the fact that because of this, we got Edge versus Finn at Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
So I guess Bobby Lashley needs to steer clear. Like he's doing the wrong thing then, right? Because like you're talking about Edge, Bobby Lashley did the same exact thing this week.
So that is also another spit in relating to is them bonding. However, Bobby did kind of tell Riddle we're not cool like that, but go do your thing because I also don't like Seth. So,
which like,
dang it, Bobby, that's exactly what we don't want.
We don't want Bobby. We don't want Bobby. That's the one thing we don't want. Don't interact with Riddle, man. That's the one thing. You had one job. Other than that, you're doing great. You're doing great, dude.
Katie, what were you gonna say before Hank Hill?
I don't know. Vince's fucking soundboard threw me off. I don't know.
All right. Back to Ryland, spit or swallow.
I'm gonna swallow all this this White Rabbit stuff. The last few weeks of just following it has been so much fun. Like it makes you pay attention to the small things in wrestling, and that's wrestling fans. I mean, like I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but myself, and I know, and I'm sure I can speak for Kyle. We love Easter eggs. We love shit to look for like that, and it's like it leads you to do a different direction every week. And I mean, hopefully, it's going to end next Saturday at Extreme Rules, because now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I gotta know. I saw a thread online this week that somebody said it was going to be Edge, and I was just like, don't do that to us. Please don't do that to us, because Vince would have done that to us.
If it's Edge, that might be the equivalent of Rey Mysterio coming out at number 30 instead of Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, thankfully it's not. Thankfully he returned and challenged Finn, which I mean I'll swallow that too. That's I'm excited for that. An I Quit match, sure, take my money. Like I never thought that I'd say that I was going to watch Extreme Rules this 6 months ago. If you would have asked me if I would be watching Extreme Rules, I'd be probably saying no. And I'm excited for this show next week. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Consider my juices titillated.
Stop that. The White Rabbit stuff is probably the most entertaining thing in WWE right now, because it is something you have to look for, and it is going to be Bray Wyatt. If it's not, then that is the biggest wasted opportunity ever. But Matt tweeted it. I want the White Rabbit to appear on Halloween.
Ooh.
Halloween is on Monday.
That's some good shit right there. That I like.
That's all Matt's doing. I'm just reiterating it for him.
They said that we might get the reveal of who it is at Extreme Rules, but he might not actually be there. I think if Bray is it and he shows up, it should 100% be on the Halloween edition of Raw. However, as a giant Bray Wyatt fan, if you can't tell from me hugging the figure and just everything behind me, I don't want to get my hopes up and be disappointed, so I'm going to stick with the theory we came up last week that it's B Rabbit.
I still love that theory.
From 8 Mile. So
yeah, that's a great theory. I love that one. I hope it's that one actually. In character, in gimmick.
I'm getting ready for a mom spaghetti match.
Yeah,
but yeah, no, the fact that they've been doing this, the QR codes, all of the the fact that everyone's digging in and like looking at the source code of the fucking videos and finding things in there, and it take you like it's insane. It's cool. It's one of the coolest, most interactive things for the fans that WWE has done in a long time, leading to your anticipation of a return.
Hell yeah,
I concur.
Kyle, spit or swallow.
I feel bad about this one because this is something I've been swallowing for a while, but I think it's turned sour on me. Dexter Lumis, you got to do something. I am at the point now, as a person who is really enjoying, who's enjoyed this return. I think they've played it perfectly. I think Having the initial reveal on Raw was fantastic. I've always been a fan of the character because I do think, especially his feud with the Undisputed Era when it was really popping, just having Roderick Strong and guys like seeing ghosts and stuff, it was really really fun. And I feel like the idea of him toying with the Miz has been fantastic, but I'm at the point where we need to go somewhere.
I mean,
I might be impatient, but I'm ready for something to happen.
I can see why people say that, and it's a very valid point. I'm not 100% disagreeing with you, but it's so right up Dexter's alley to be dragging this out for so long. I knew as soon as they showed Miz with whatever he called his security team, and there was the goalie mannequin, I knew Dexter was going to be in that, and I couldn't wait. It's little things like that I mean, it's in the anticipation of like, he'll show up. He cut a hole in the ring with a knife last week. Like, you didn't really expect that, and if you did, good on you. But it's little things like that you, or at least I, like, am okay with it going on a little longer. Eventually, it'll lead to something. Probably at Extreme Rules. They'll probably do something on the kickoff, if I were to guess.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
So here's my thing. I said this last week. I honestly don't need to see a Dexter versus Miz match because I'm never excited for a Miz match. Not that I have an issue with the Miz. It's just the idea of a match with the Miz does not get me excited. If you tell me I'm going to get Dexter versus Ciampa, I'm all in. However, everything that I love about Dexter Lumis does not necessarily have to do with his win-loss record or the matches that he had in NXT. It's about everything he's doing now. And I would be perfectly content with my number one male wrestling man crush, Dexter Lumis, just continuing to torture the Miz for the rest of eternity, beating up random security guards and then cuddling him to sleep in a creepy yet semi-sexual way on Raw every week and finding new ways to do it. Like, I'm perfectly good with that. So, but if we're going to do a match, I'm much more excited for Ciampa versus Lumis, and I hope we go there first than I am Miz versus Lumis. Not that it's going to be a bad match. It's just, like I said, Miz doesn't get me excited.
Kyle, all I got to say is this, man.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
I don't think you have room to talk because you disappeared.
By that remark that I got up and left. I had to regather myself. I am like, walk to the kitchen, drink some water, take a deep breath, do some yoga, some steady meditation before you come back here and last shout at Kyle because he's a fantastic person, but everyone has flaws, you know?
The only match I want to see Miz versus Dexter Lumis in is not a trick or street fight. I actually hope trick or street fights never come back because that is a terrible Vince McMahon gimmick, and I don't ever need to see the pumpkins and the bullshit. However, if we do what they did with Dexter Lumis and Cameron Grimes in his House of Horrors in a cinematic match,
yes,
that I could be for. I need his bendy, creepy, ghoulish zombie sisters writhing all over the Miz and Maurice getting mad and talking about his tiny balls and saying that he's cheating. I need him to go through the house like Carmelo Hayes and Trick did, just being terrified. I need all of that. And Savannah, Vince leaves every episode at least once, if not twice. We used to say it was to get a blowjob, but now I think he's just, masturbating furiously and then coming back.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking about Dexter Lumis. It's only natural that one might do such a thing. I would like to see a buried alive match between Dexter Lumis and Miz to write Miz off of television. I think that'd be interesting.
I actually wouldn't be upset with a buried alive match with Dexter Lumis either. Like,
That took such a turn.
But it's got to be a gimmick match. It can't just be a straight up one-on-one.
Oh, well,
It's got to be
obviously
buried alive, casket, ambulance, something where Dexter locks.
Ooh, Inferno. I like Inferno.
Oh, wow. I really just shouted something out. Well, thank you.
Here's a question for you that I do want to ask, though, because I'm sort of curious about it myself. I go back and forth on it. Do you want to see him and Indy Hartwell paired up again?
Yes, only if Indy. I said from the jump after Dexter kidnapped Miz, I wanted Indy to kidnap Maurice. because I thought that
would-
would have been cool.
Yeah.
But so if you bring her up and have her be with Dexter, I want her to be like Dexter. I don't want it.
That's fair.
I don't want her to be, because like she doesn't really have a character right now, as well, especially right now.
Not on TV right now. Yeah.
Exactly. Like she's not doing anything. So
See, I was
I
gonna
think
say.
it'd be cool.
Go ahead, Katie. I'm sorry.
No, that I think it would be interesting only if it's in like that capacity.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is yes, but only in the backstage passing sort of thing. Like I don't need this to be an in-ring, unless you do the Miz and Maurice, and you could do an intergender buried alive match, which would be interesting. It would be a first or something along those lines. But as far as like an on-screen couple in-ring doing things, I don't really need that. Occasional segments backstage and stuff like that, like we got in NXT, that I'd be okay with. Vince, I think it's on you. Spit or swallow.
Oh shit, it's on me. Where? I'm swallowing everything involving Judgment Day this week because like they were great. Finn still like being persistent, like consent is key, Finn, but like it sounded like he was gonna force AJ to like accept Judgment Day's offer one way or another. And I kind of like Finn being this aggressive, even though I don't condone the actions, but I like an aggressive Finn Balor. And if the rumors are to be believed that he's going to get a more of a push towards the upper card, I'm all for this. Plus, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Damian Priest, everything this week, Judgment Day, they're starting to feel more and more serious, and they're starting to be taken more seriously by me. So I'm loving everything Judgment Day. Swallowing all them. They're all beautiful people.
Okay.
I mean,
Katie, spit or swallow. Unless you want to talk about, how Dom and your hands have things in common.
Well, it's not just my hands; it's me
Well,
too.
Yes, but specifically, you say that these hands are bisexual and everyone can get them. And
Exactly.
some of the things that we've learned from Rhea is that if Dom wants mommy, he gets mommy. If he wants poppy, he gets poppy. And much like your hands, he likes to be all over Rhea Ripley. So,
What I would give? What kidney do I have to sell?
Is there a person who wouldn't?
Find me someone. But besides Rhea, because that's a given. Everything. Panda Express, so Johnny Gargano and Kevin Owens. Them as a tag team, my favorite. Them on SmackDown with Drew, where Johnny looked like a very small child compared to Drew McIntyre, which threw me off so much. I was like, there's no way Johnny's that small. And lo and behold, he's that tiny. But I love everything about this. Kevin and Johnny go way back to PWG. They've wanted to tag together for so long. That's how they kind of did like the Panda Express thing. And with Drew, I missed the first hour of SmackDown. So like, I don't really know how that all came about, but I'm happy with what I got because that's a great team. And you also like throw Chad Gable in the mix. Yes, Matt?
fuck Austin Theory. That's how that came about.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Fair point. But then you throw Chad Gable in the mix. Otis is there too, but Chad Gable is a gem in the ring, on the mic. Everything Chad Gable is doing is just helping elevate all of this. Everything KO, Johnny, Theory, but like nobody gives a fuck about Theory. But like, so as much as I'm swallowing Johnny and KO, everything this week, very special swallow to Chad Gable for being modern day Kurt Angle.
The way he answered Braun Strowman on Austin Theory's phone on Monday was hilarious. He's like, shush, please. Like he was scared. He was still dropping the catchphrase. Yeah, I'm with you, Katie. KO and Sammy are fantastic. That match on Monday, that tag match, fan-fucking-tastic. I loved it. Everything was great about it. The chants were chanting KO, like, but in the Olay, Sami Zayn, El Generico style, like, chant. Everything was great. I love this team.
KO.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Love it. Love it.
I always thought, and this is me getting into like a minor fantasy booking thing. I feel like it was a missed opportunity not to get Chad Gable and Drew Gulak to work together. I feel like they have the same like dorky energy and the same technical prowess. I would like to see them work together in some capacity. I'm not sure what.
We get a PowerPoint presentation.
I'd be fine with that.
A PowerPoint presentation. You know what? He can be a teacher in the Alpha Academy, and his speciality is PowerPoint. There you go. Like, it all works. It actually becomes an academy because they already got Austin Theory. He's like that jock star athlete that doesn't actually go to class.
Fuck off.
Correct. But I'm trying to build the academy, Katie. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm all about education. Chase U versus Alpha Academy. Book it. Which school is better?
If Andre Chase came up to the main roster, what would you say happened on his first night?
He debuted.
I thought you were all about education, Vince, because we've taught you that it's not debuted. That's not how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's
That's
debuted.
not how it's pronounced.
I'm pretty sure it's debuted. I'm like 99.
Would you like to ask your friends?
I've never heard the word debuted before.
Thank you.
It's okay.
Thank you.
It's okay. Everyone learns eventually.
Is that a Chicago thing, or is that?
It's not a Chicago.
It's just a Vince thing.
Not. I can tell you that as someone who's in Chicago right now, it is not a Chicago thing.
It's literally just a Vince thing, and we don't know why.
It's fair.
All right, Ryland, spit or swallow.
I'm swallowing Max Dupree leaving behind the male models. I always liked LA Knight. I thought it was don't get me wrong. He's not a youthful guy, and he's probably not going to be world champion. I get that. But these utility guys in the mid card, like him and Robert Roode, they're necessary. And I like a guy like that to be, especially, and again, LA Knight's a fun character. Like, this guy can talk. His in-ring stuff, depending upon who he's in there with, can be really good. And I really liked his stuff in Impact. He was world champion over there. So like, I'm for him leaving this kind of silly Vince McMahon stable behind and hopefully getting back to being, this kind of like flashy, cool, loud guy. I'm swallowing all.
Yeah.
And doing it exactly the way you said it, because when he took out Mansois during their pose, right before they beat the record of the longest pose in Canada or whatever the fuck they were talking about, he said, maybe this was never really for me. Yeah. So that all of the hints that they've dropped in the weeks leading up to this, and then him finally being like, yeah, no, this is bullshit and I should have never been doing this, but not like straight up saying that, was fucking fantastic. I'm with you on that.
It was just the slow build of us finally getting LA Knight back. Like him just saying, I don't remember like the exact quotes from anything. It was like, there's a day and then there's a night, and then he paused. And then when they were in LA, he said something about being back in LA, and then he paused. It's just little shit like they've been doing like that every week, and him getting pissed off with Maximum Models and his sister and everything like that. And then we got the tonight. Oh, I'm so excited. I love LA Knight.
So I'm excited for that as well, but I'm gonna give some flowers to Maximum Male Models, man. Like they kept that pose. Like it's stupid. I'm not supposed to like it, but god damn it, do I enjoy everything.
There is no fucking way they stood there the whole time.
I was gonna say, you don't actually believe that they kept that pose the entire show.
There's no way.
You gotta suspend your disbelief.
Yeah.
It's all about suspension of disbelief. You have to believe in kayfabe. If we don't believe in kayfabe, it's just madness. Madness, I say. Let me have my hopes and dreams, goddammit. Let me believe what I want to believe.
No. Oh,
Kyle, spit or swallow?
I'm swallowing Imperium. My angry Euro boys are back, and they're better than ever.
Yes.
I'm fully here for it. The symphonic music has returned.
Maybe 10 seconds. The first 10 seconds of it, maybe.
That's still fine.
It's just a remix.
Yeah, that's fine. We knew they were going to remix it anyway, but you know what? It's good to see. It's good to see them together again. I want to see. I want to see. I guess if he's going to be Gunther, whatever. I want to see him push to the moon.
Yeah.
I'm it. There are so few people in WWE right now who could credibly take down Roman Reigns. And if you want to build somebody up as a potential one to do it, he's not a bad one to do it.
I'm not so confident that it could be Gunther just because I don't know, man. Like,
You also don't like Wardlow, so
Which
I don't.
Thank
like
you.
Wardlow.
Listen, I don't like Wardlow's world, but Wardlow's cool as fuck.
No.
we had an entire fight with Vince last week because we wanted to name the show War Joe Fucks Hard, and he wouldn't make the thumbnail
I was
because
just
he didn't want to put over
difficult.
Wardlow.
I was just being difficult. Like
You
man,
are always being difficult. You
Yes.
exist difficult.
I know, but that's part of my charm.
Do you know how hard he tried to convince me not to have Katie on the show this week?
Oh, very
Are
hard.
you fucking kidding me?
He was text messaging me. He's like, so since we're having both members of Wednesday Night Wallop on, maybe it should just be us and not her. And I'm like, I told you I'm not benching Katie. And he goes, but do you really want to do a 5-man show? I'm like, I'm gonna make it work. Don't worry, I got this. I'll make it work. He goes, I'm just saying, if she doesn't show up, I can go to SmackDown and I don't lose the race for Pornhub Pop. Like, yeah, no, it the entire time in my text messages, just all trying to get you off the show this week.
Oh, I was.
It's the way
100%.
I should have beat your ass when I was in Chicago.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda, but didn't.
Bet. You want me to come back?
Go ahead. You ain't gonna do
Oh,
shit.
this is the
Don't
cinematic.
fucking try me, then.
This is the
Do not
cinematic
try me
match
today.
that we need.
You're watching the slow burn
I-
of my heel turn on the show.
When Katie was in Chicago, she was in the chat while we were doing a show, and I begged her. Someone said they'd get her an Uber to go to Vince's
was
house,
Jesus,
break
by the
down
way.
the door, and super kick Vince in the middle of our show. It would have been the greatest moment in
And
wrestling
I
podcast
said-
history.
So throughout that day, I slowly was getting a headache, and it turned into a migraine because I didn't take care of it fast enough. So I literally was watching their show like in a hoodie, like zipped. I was in no mood to even leave my hotel room, let alone go beat Vince's ass like I should have.
5-person show.
well.
Sorry,
Oh,
Jesus.
well.
All right, Vince. So back to why you don't think that Gunther is good enough to dethrone Roman Reigns.
Oh no, I didn't say he wasn't good enough. I just
Yes, you did.
don't
What did I
know
say?
if he'd be the one to do
Thanks,
so. It's just I don't know. It's weird because there's just like I don't have this confidence that they'll do right by Gunther. Like a lot of like international like wrestlers or like aside from like maybe like Canadians or like some Mexicans, like I don't like you look at Shinsuke Nakamura as an example. Like he should have been the guy to take the title off AJ Styles. He never did, and I had more faith in this Shinsuke. Like, you look at like a Pete Dunne. Like I don't know. I'm just very skeptical. I
You
wouldn't
have
be
a
mad at it.
different person in charge making decisions now than you did when Shinsuke won the Royal.
I understand that.
Royal Rumble and failed.
I
to do
100%
that. Yeah.
understand that.
Pete
100%
Dunne's still in his
understand.
20s too, isn't he?
Say what?
I'm pretty sure Pete Dunne's still in his 20s too. So I think there's lots of Pete Dunne time.
He's still in his 20s. God damn, Kyle. Why you gotta make me feel old?
I should probably verify that before I just throw it out there. But
Katie's still in her 20s too.
I'm only 26.
Yeah, but if Pete Dunne's only 22, god damn. Like now
Pete
I
Dunne-
feel like I'm
Pete
gonna
Dunne-
grow gray hairs
Pete Dunne is
tomorrow.
No way he's
28.
20. Yeah,
Pete
there's
Dunne
no way
is
he's
28.
22. Come on. Yeah, 28
I was
sounds
about
more
to say,
reasonable.
Kyle, Jesus, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that man is 22 when he has more facial hair than me.
Well, Max is
I might crawl up in the
Max
fetal position
26.
in that corner and just cry myself to sleep if that's the case. Oh man.
So anyway, you don't think Gunther can or is
I don't
going to
know.
be the one? Is going to be the one?
I don't think he would be the one. It might just be Cody, it might just be Seth. I'm rooting for Sammy all the way. I want him to have his Kofi Daniel Bryan moment.
Well, since you brought him up, real quick because I wasn't going to do them, but I'm going to do one, maybe two, depending on if you guys bring it up. I'm swallowing Seth saying that he's not scared of Riddle because he has the one thing Riddle doesn't have: a functioning brain. Because he is my Messiah, he is my hero, he is my Seth Rollins. Also, the fact that he decided he's just going to start kicking the shit out of all the bad dads. Matt Riddle, Rey Mysterio, like one by one, taking out terrible fathers. Shout out to my hero, Seth Rollins.
What a guy.
And Ray's failure to be a good father and punish Dom is why he lost with a Peruvian necktie on Monday Night Raw.
Man, that shit was sick. That was gnarly. Like, he already knocked his ass out, and it's like, I'm gonna choke your ass now too. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that.
Bad Dad Slayer.
Bad Dad Slayer. Put that on the t-shirt. Just don't come for Bobby's, because then me and Katie are gonna be in trouble.
You can name the episode Bad Dad Slayer if you want.
Bad Dad Slayer is an option. It's an option. I have another contender, which is Support a Dick. Support a Dick.
I don't know if Support a Dick will work after we got in trouble for War Joe Fucks Hard. Remember, Travis, we got to be careful with how we name things going forward, because now YouTube's looking at
us. Dick is also an actual name, so you can't really get mad at that. We could be talking about.
I'm sorry. Are you trying to fight YouTube on that?
Because I will fight YouTube on this
push
one
you
because
down hard.
They don't know this, and they could be like, there's Dick Graysons. There are amazing dicks in the world, you know, and you have to support them, and you need to fight for that support.
You support a dick by spitting or swallowing.
That's a good question. You know what? Let me support the whole collection of Hit Row versus Los Lotharios, because I thought the match was fantastic. Top Dollar, again, feat of strength. Angel Garza ripping pants off, and like Humberto Carrillo looking fantastic, and so is B-Fab. Michael Cole like fangirling over B-Fab, and like the whole segment was great. I liked it. It was a good match. Was I upset that Lotharios didn't pick up the win? Yeah. Am I surprised? No, because obviously you're building up Hit Row, so I'm selling that match.
Los Lotharios never win, so I don't know why you were surprised.
Even in Hispanic Heritage Months, they didn't win.
I'm starting to feel like it's a conspiracy against Mexicans on WWE programming and all of wrestling, actually, because like you saw Bandito lose to Jericho, and then you seen Lucha Bros losing week after week, except for winning the trios title.
Shout out to AEW for listening to people like me and actually giving Bandito and CJ Parker promo packages so I knew who the fuck they were and why I should care.
I guess.
It was really nice to see CJ Parker. It's been years. Now he's going by Rock Hard Juice Robinson, and
he's probably rock. I feel like he has to be rock hard because he's dating Tony Storm. So like, if you're not rock hard Juice Robinson, what are you doing? Like, you're failing Tony Storm. I feel like that's why he has to be rock hard, man. No,
Katie, spit or swallow.
Thank you so much for ending that. For the little bit we got of it on NXT, I have to swallow Baby Steiner doing part of the Steiner Math promo. I have to. Yep. He sounded exactly like Scott, which threw me off. I was like, stop. I don't like that. Ilya almost broke. JD McFunko head ass could barely keep it together either. And I'm happy he didn't do the full thing. Like, keep it short and sweet. Like, we knew it was coming at some point because he is Baby Steiner. But it was just the nice little cherry on top. And plus, that triple threat's going to be great. Because I fucking love Ilya Dragunov. I love Braun Breaker. JD's there, so he's just, I don't care about him.
His big old head is there.
Is George Lopez as a kid looking head ass is there, and I don't care. Yes, Matt.
I don't know how it always works out this way, but somehow every week when I have something in my notes that I feel is special and needs to be highlighted on the show as far as how I recap things in my own unique way, it always seems to be something that Katie brings up. So my notes have swallow. Braun likes European three-ways. Ilya and JD McDun argue and trade insults. Braun says there's more than enough of the big bad booty breaker to go around.
JD dun, dun, dun. I like that one.
It's amazing to me how that guy looks exactly like his dad and sounds exactly like his uncle. Like, he's the perfect combination of both of them.
He is.
He's great. I can't like I'm loving his run in NXT, but like I really want him to come up. Like I really want him to come up and just fuck shit up on the main roster. Just take out everybody, drop everybody on their head.
He's probably going to soon. He might drop the title. I don't know to who at Halloween Havoc. That would be a good way to bring him up after that, or keep him there until whatever the fuck their next one is.
I really want Metal to be the one to take the title off of him. So I kind of want to wait until after Halloween Havoc and he doesn't win the ladder match for the North American title, and then he can transition to the main NXT title, and he's the one that finally beats Braun. Since we didn't get Solo to beat Braun for the NXT title, I want it to be Melo.
I also feel like European three-way should be a contender for the title of this episode.
European three-way. Okay. Let's write these down because these are good.
Yeah, I don't know why you've never written these down.
Well, usually these are in the comment section, and then I just like favorite them and highlight them.
That's not necessarily true.
While that is going on, Ryland, spit or swallow. Oh, unless you had more, Katie. Did you have more? Because your thing was Braun, which is Braun. Yeah. Because you look very confused, like I was skipping you.
I was. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, didn't.
I know you wouldn't. I know you wouldn't.
Keith Lee doing very little, but making it very impactful on Dynamite this week. You had the backstage promo with the Acclaimed, and they're wild with Billy Gunn, scissoring left, right, and center. And Keith Lee comes in with his hoodie up and just basically says, "Yeah, me and Swerve are pissed because Billy Gunn helped you guys out, and you got carried." And he's just basically said, "We're coming." And I don't want to see that tag team split at all. I love Keith Lee. I'd love to see him be a single star. Same with Swerve. But man, Keith Lee is a heel ever since the pay-per-view. Take all my money. I love it. He's so good at it. So why, I almost kind of feel like if the Acclaimed weren't in the position that they were in being over, it wouldn't have been the time to take the titles off them either. They were doing just fine. I enjoyed them as a team. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to the feud eventually, but no, Keith Lee just showing up and basically saying we're coming this week. I swallowing that.
I do also swallow the fact that Keith Lee announced that he is coming. But I'm gonna snowball your swallow, Rylan, and add shout out to National Scissoring Day next week. I'm excited for that. I'm excited for next week, Wednesday. I haven't gotten the shirt, but I might.
I don't know that I have ever had a bigger 180 on any wrestler or group than I have with the Acclaimed. I was so against everything they were doing early on. And they won me over. It took a while, but I guess I can't deny at this point.
It was the scissoring. Everyone can win you over with a good scissoring.
How is it that Billy Gunn is over in 2022? It's insanity to me. But don't get me wrong, I love Billy Gunn, but oh man, it's amazing.
Anyone in here or anyone in the chat remember the other title that I had besides European three-way? When Vince was like, "Oh, we should call it Support a Dick," and I was like, "I don't know if we can do that." There was one I said, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, now I'm trying to remember because it was good.
Chat, help us out here. Savannah,
Chat,
help us out here. Jesus.
I'm with you.
Scissor Orgy?
Heel Keith Lee would be. It was not Scissor Orgy. Heel Keith Lee would be fantastic. I've also, much like Kyle, done a complete 180 on the Acclaimed. I thought it was the dumbest fucking thing. I thought it was terrible. Now I fucking love them. I want to scissor everyone that I see. I'd scissor Anthony Bowens. I'd scissor Daddy Ass. Everyone but Vince gets scissored. So I am with both of you on both of those points. Anyone else got anything on that before I go to Kyle?
That was Kyle's.
No, that was
Bad Dad Slayer. Bakley said it. Bad Dad Slayer.
Yes, Bad Dad Slayer. Thank you, Bakley.
Thank you, Bakley.
Well, see, I hadn't gone to Kyle, so I wasn't going to count that as Kyle's because that's how the show works. Is I say spit or swallow, and then someone spits or swallows Vince, and everything else is just part of the conversation that we're having until I move on to the next guest. I don't know how we've been doing this. We are on episode 263, and you haven't figured out the format yet. So Kyle, spit or swallow?
I have to swallow the best developing love story in wrestling, which is William Regal being hot for Excalibur on commentary.
Yes.
Yes.
This week featuring the line him wanting to snap, crackle, and pop him.
Wait, snap, crackle, and pop me should be a title.
Which the joy is only compounded by then having to listen to Tony Schiavone and Taz try to bring it back and just be completely unable to. William Regal is doing some fantastic work, and it is great to see.
Listen, it is my favorite thing in AEW. I don't give a fuck about anything else. William Regal thirsting over Excalibur, Man with the Mask, it gives me so much happiness. When he didn't do it for 2 weeks, I was like, is William okay? Like, is someone check on him? Does he have a fever? He's not flirting with Excalibur. I'm scared. It's that Rice Krispie line. He said you can snap, crackle, and pop me any way you want, and called him sweetheart at the end too. I was like, where is this energy? All men have this energy for your partner in any
Vince,
capacity.
you can snap, crackle, and pop me anytime you want.
But I can't scissor you.
Yeah, call him
Sweetheart.
There you go.
But I can't scissor you.
No,
that's too far.
Don't
But it's
consider
everything he has said. He said something about, I shit you not, being a mouthful later on in the night, but it was during the commercial break, so only people who don't get the commercial break saw it. But I saw it on Twitter and I busted out laughing because it's just so innocent-ish and pure and happy. Like the love between them. Like fuck off, don't give me a face. It's legitimately my favorite thing.
Lust at this point. It's a.
There weren't two people on TV I've wanted to see fuck more than Excalibur and William Regal since Indy and Dexter. So,
Yeah.
Which they almost did, while simultaneously Persia Parada and Duke Hudson did it on the other side of the ring.
I would watch that too, and I would watch Excalibur and William Regal, mask and all.
100%.
He needs the mask. Like, you can't take that off.
Oh no. That's actually, you know what, that
would ruin it.
Category as well. You know,
the
like
mask on.
It's kind of like when Joker and the Batman fight each other. Joker never wants to take off the mask of Batman because then it ruins the mystery. That's part of the fun. That's part of the kink.
You know what else is part of the fun and part of the kink, Vince?
What?
When you spit or swallow.
I'm gonna
transitions.
Matt, this one's for you, man. I was gonna let you talk about this one, but can we all just swallow the second biggest swallow of the week? Shotzi Blackheart and her tank have returned. Full entrance and all. The helmet, everything, the howl. Go off, Matthew. Go off, man.
The biggest swallow of 2022 is the return of Shotzi Blackheart's motherfucking tank. I was distraught, dismayed, and broken when they took it. It hurt me to my core, and there have been whispers in the wind that it was coming back, and I've been waiting and waiting anxiously, like we all are for when William Regal says things to Excalibur on Dynamite, for it to happen. And tonight I was finally given the satisfaction, the gratification of getting my fucking tank. Like, it's not even her tank anymore. It's my fucking tank. Like, it's my tank, and I wanted it back, and I got it back. Nothing. Stone Cold WrestleMania, fuck that. AEW matches, Bryan Danielson versus whoever the fuck that. Shotzi in a tank. Biggest swallow of 2022. If we did Smackin' Raw podcast awards at the end of the year, nobody gets a vote. That gets biggest swallow of the year. Hands down, the return of the tank.
That's fine.
Winnipeg's a magical place. Magical things happen in Winnipeg, man.
We got Johnny Gargano in Canada. We got Candice LeRae in Canada. We got a fucking tank in Canada.
Yeah. Facts.
Happy October, everyone. Fucking Jesus in the chat is like very excited about October. He congratulated Katie for being in October an hour before us.
Yeah.
Would anyone else like to bask in the glory of Shotzi's tank?
Keith Lee.
It is a great tank.
She needed it. Without it, she was lost.
I mean, it's the only tank that has a dildo launcher, and for that, it's my favorite tank.
Now it has pyro.
It's pyro and a dildo launcher. Can't beat it.
It's a hot dildo.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Vince. Thank you. Katie, spit or swallow?
I'm going to spit everything Joe, Wayne, Gacy, and Schism. I don't give a fuck. I've never liked Joe, Wayne, Gacy. I didn't like the vibes I got before he decided to be a creepy youth pastor. The only thing I kind of like about Schism, and it's not very big, the person in the red hoodie that keeps appearing. I don't know if anybody else has caught it. This person, which we're now thinking is a female, and the people I have seen are saying it's Isla Dawn, or Tegan Knox, but that gets my hopes too far up. So,
or the ghost of Tegan Knox's knees.
Stop it. It's not the ghost of Tegan Knox's knees. She passed that ghost to Statlander. Listen, I said on numerous podcasts and numerous occasions that Statlander got Tegan Knoxed.
She got
You're hurting me. You hurt my heart today.
I'm sorry.
I think you just Tegan Knox Kyle.
I'm so sorry.
You Tegan Knox his heart.
I don't know why you sounded surprised, Vince. I've said it on multiple shows, including my own, which you say you're a fan of. So
no,
anyways.
I know, but like the way you infected Kyle and Rylan.
Oh, that's your co-host down there. That's your co-host.
I'm not talking about that right now.
Taniga.
You guys are fucked up. But anyways, the red hoodie, like they're wearing like a mask, so you can't tell who it is. There's just like a creepy smile painted on it. They've been in the crowd every time Schism's in the ring, which I missed
on the
this
podcast
past
in the
week.
crowd. No, they've been on your podcast in the crowd.
Shut up, let me talk. But it's just subtle little things with this red hoodie. I don't know. Maybe at Halloween Havoc, if Schism and whatever Joey and Gacy, if they have something for Halloween Havoc, then maybe this red hoodie will announce themselves or show their face, and then we can get something cool out of it. Hopefully, I don't really have my hopes that high, but if it's another female, fuck yeah, let's go. Add more women to the roster because NXT's got a damn good roster of women right now.
I concur.
I agree. Also, real quick tack on before we go to Rylan. I have decided, because I am with you, except I was a fan of Joe Wayne Gacy. I was a fan. I wanted him to host Halloween Havoc. I wanted him to be outside in an unmarked van. I wanted Harlan, before he went and did stupid shit in AEW, to kidnap people and drag them into Joe Wayne Gacy's van. That because Schism has ruined this whole thing for me, I'm dropping the Wayne from his name. He is no longer Joe. He's just Joe Gacy, like they call him. He's not Joe Wayne Gacy anymore because he's not that creepy serial killer stalker guy. Now he's just a youth pastor, and I'm not feeling it. So he has lost the privilege of being called Joe Wayne Gacy.
You know how hard it's going to be for me to like not call him that though.
I'll remind you.
Thank you.
Also, Vince, I sent you a timestamp because I forgot to tell you, and I'm going to tell you like 3 weeks ago that I need you to just like pick something in the show and then keep a timestamp of something that Travis can cut out and post as like a YouTube clip, which is really actually hard because you guys have been fantastic. The chat has been fantastic, and this has been a funny ass show. So picking something is going to be really hard. We might have to pick a few. So thank you, Wednesday Night Wallop, Katie, Vince, and the chat for making this such a fun night.
Support a dick, man. That's all you got to do.
Shut up.
Rylan, spit or swallow.
I'm gonna swallow the Moxley and Rock Hard Juice Robinson match this week. I enjoyed it. I enjoy Moxley, and I those guys have history, so they know how to work each other. I mean, like, you didn't need to bleed, but whatever. Like, that's Moxley. That's what he does. He bleeds when it's unnecessary all the time. But no, I like these two, and I mean, like, I'm also going to swallow the report that looks like Juice Robinson might have a job. It's always nice to see, like him or be able to work with his wife. Like, I would like to see those two do like a a couple's gimmick. Like, because Toni Storm's fine, but like I think her and Juice together as this evil power couple would be fun.
Like Triple H, Steph, early 2000s kind of shit.
I don't think he's that rock hard, but
not the way I thought you were taking that. Okay, I appreciate it.
I love how Wednesday Night Wallop has really warmed up to the essence and the spirit of the show. You love to see it.
To be fair, going back and watching early 2000s stuff gets me rock hard still. So shout out to early 2000s stuff.
Whoa, same. Crazy.
No, I'm with you. I am not a New Japan fan. Surprise to everyone, I will actually be doing an episode of Brainbuster Boys this Sunday where I have to talk about 3 New Japan matches that I actually had to go watch. So if you want to hear me talk about New Japan and review New Japan, there you go. You can go check out the Brainbuster Boys when the episode drops. 3 matches that I will give you my opinion on. I'm going to save all of that for there, so no spoilers. However, so I didn't I knew that Juice Robinson was over there. I hear things. I hear everything. I'm vaguely aware. So I knew he was Juice Robinson. He wasn't CJ Parker anymore, even though I decided to keep calling him CJ Parker because that's how I know him. But yeah, no, it was a good match. It was a surprisingly good match. And I think I agree that they could be a fun group. And I need to see more from him to see how I feel about. Yeah, see, I need more. Promo. So to really get a gauge on him, however, what you talked about, pairing them together, all of that is enticing. You give me a little more, and I may be on the rock hard train.
Has hell for his memory. Yeah. I think it has. Seriously, how did Brett pull that off?
It took Inoki dying.
It did take actually no. We'll go with that. In honor of Antonio Inoki, I'm actually going to talk New Japan.
Yeah, in honor of.
Yes.
Kyle, spit or swallow?
This is a little moment in a match, but I do have to swallow. It was a short match too. Ricky Starks and Elias, and was basically a squash match. But I don't know if I've ever seen a pinfall pop the wrestler who was getting pinned before. But Ricky Starks doing a sitting pinfall on top of Elias, and even by the time he got to 3, he was bursting out laughing, and I got a kick out of that. So I guess this is going to be. I don't know if he's stealing Nikita Lyons' shtick now, but I'd be fine with that too.
I like when people edited the Mario boing onto it. I saw so many clips of that on Twitter.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Which that made me laugh much harder because the pin itself is just fucking ridiculous, but it works because it's Ricky Starks.
Yeah. That's the thing is it wouldn't work for a lot of wrestlers, but he's just silly enough to pull it off.
Exactly.
Who has a better pin, Ricky Starks or Nikita Lyons?
Nikita.
I think the best pin is Rhea Ripley. Just lift the leg
over
the shoulder.
True. Facts. It's Rhea Ripley.
I will also put in a word for Wardlow, who's literally selling shirts.
You're right. I agree. I like both answers.
I can't go with Wardlow because he pins people when they're face down, and I just can't support that. That's not how pinning works.
I pointed that out on a show when we did cover that one, but I have since let it go.
I get pin me War Daddy. I'm all for that. However, pin me on my back, not my face.
Never mind. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
I'll say it for Katie. You can pin me however you want, Wardlow. It doesn't matter what way you have me.
Oh my god, it's so crazy that you know me so well.
Yeah. Do you think before he gets in bed, he does the fucking Wardlow thing?
He should.
Probably. I would.
I bet Vince does too, though.
He does. Well, see, Vince is a closet Wardlow fan. He walks around. He makes Melissa call him War Daddy when they're at home. All of these things. Then he comes to the podcast. He's like, I fucking hate that guy. He sucks. He's not the next Batista. He's trash.
Well, I never say he sucks. I just don't like him. He's not the next Batista. I see him more of a Ryback wrestler.
No.
Wow.
See, your friends are turning against you now.
No,
and
like
dark times,
with that, I am going to give everyone one more round of spits and swallows. So everyone pick the one thing you want to spit or swallow the most next, mostly because Vince has to be up in 3 hours, and I promised him I would end it by 1 o'clock. So I will start with Vince, and then I'll go Katie, and then Rylan, and we'll finish with Kyle, and then we'll plug everyone's shit, and we'll close the show out. So Vince, your last spit or swallow.
Can I swallow that we're finishing with Kyle? No, but in all honesty, it's probably the only spit aside from Jericho the whole week. Like, I know we have this like playful like back and forth on the show, but the injury that looks like to the Don of NXT, Tony D'Angelo. You never want to see anyone get injured. Am I glad that Wesley is in the match? Yeah, but do I want it because of these circumstances? No. So as a Chicagoan that's had to see athletes get hurt over and over, Derrick Rose and now Lonzo Ball, I never want to see that on anyone's favorite athlete or individual. So spitting the fact that Tony D'Angelo is out of action.
I'm spitting the fact that this is Matt Riddle's fault.
Always is.
Matt Shitty Kids. Do tell, Matt.
The curse of Riddle is real, and as we know, Matt's Shitty Kids, MSK, are byproducts of the curse of Riddle. And now the curse of Riddle has spread to Wesley being unsafe and injuring my Don, my hero of NXT, taking him out of action. And that is a huge spit for me. As a fellow Italian from Chicago, there is no one in NXT I support more than Tony D'Angelo. And Wesley going out there and causing this injury because of the curse of Riddle is a huge spit.
Yeah, like you never like seeing the ref throw up the X because that's when you know like shit's like not good. And obviously, like they recorded last week and this week together in the same day. So the fact that like this news has been out for a while, but seeing it kind of just like jolts you a little bit. Because it looked like it was his knee, and knee injuries fucking suck. Oh my god, Tony also got Tegan Noxed. Fuck.
Tony got Tegan
Damn
Noxed.
it!
I'd say he was a casualty of the curse. I wouldn't say it got passed to him, Jesus.
Yeah, casualty. That's a good word.
Katie, spit or swallow?
Fuck. I'm gonna swallow Willow Nightingale versus Jamie Hayter on Rampage. Two women who are fantastic and very over. The fact that Willow doesn't have an actual contract yet pisses me the fuck off.
What is the holdup? Sign her, please.
If it doesn't happen next week, Tony Khan, catch the hands.
He couldn't afford it because he had to get Saraya.
That's some bullshit. Let someone else go. Like, it doesn't, like, she's so good. I love her. She's just a ball of happiness, literally smiling the whole time, and then just gets fucking rage, and it's incredible. And that match was good. It did what it needed to do. It set up the triple threat for next week on the anniversary show. It was such a good match. And Rampage, 9 times out of 10, doesn't really do it for me, but, like, I watch it. I was very much paying attention to that match. Because you heard the crowd, very much equal on both. Jamie Hayter's getting over Britt, as she should. Well, that's also true. He will fuck it up, as he does. But I'll do the tagline. I'm going to let it play out.
Yeah. We'll see.
You guys got any thoughts on Willow versus Jamie before?
Willow's fantastic. Jamie's fantastic. I didn't see the match per se, but number one, the fact I didn't realize she wasn't signed. That to me is ridiculous.
Mhm.
Like even at least to Ring of Honor, like for God's sakes, like I know I agree with you. She's great, and Jamie Hayter, like that's a world champion waiting to happen.
Oh yeah.
For sure, guarantee.
Willow Nightingale has made every segment that she has been in better.
Yeah.
Like the fact that she remains, she should be being pushed to the moon because she is fantastic.
To the moon.
I can't remember.
Fuck Pamograms. Rylan, spit or swallow?
I started with a spit and I'll end with a spit. Why the fuck are we doing Private Party going back together with Matt Hardy? Like, no. Listen, why? Firstly, who remembered that Andrade still had the contracts of the Butcher and the Blade and Private Party? Because they haven't been linked in a long time, with the exception of like a battle royale that they fucked around in. Like, so all I thought was he was hanging out with Roosh now, and that was that. Now suddenly he still has their contracts, and they're kind of pissed off. And Matt's all like, "I'm clear-headed now. I don't care about the money anymore. I just want to help you." And I'm like, "No, fuck off. Like, let them be Private Party. Private Party's fun."
If
So
you're clear-headed
yeah,
and you want to help somebody, go help your brother.
yeah. God damn.
What I will say is the only reason that the Butcher and Blade are back on TV is because I said that Allie was the White Rabbit and they're trying to cover it up.
Yeah, because where's Allie? Where's Allie been?
That's a good question.
It's all coming together.
Damn it, Matt.
He's cracked.
Yeah, I don't need Matt Hardy. Like, I am not a Jeff Hardy fan. I've made that very clear. Him and Matt Riddle and Hulk Hogan are the three at the top of my list of people that I just don't fuck with for various reasons. However, so I've always been a Matt Hardy fan over Jeff Hardy, and I know I'm one of like 3 people in the world that feel that way, and I'm okay with that. However, I don't need to see Matt Hardy anymore. If we've talked about the ghosts of Tegan Knox's knees repeatedly, someone needs to finish his knees off because they're on there. He's literally on his last legs. Like
he walks around like Great Muda. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyone else got anything on Matt Hardy and Private Party?
Just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Make smart choices.
They don't
All
know how
right.
to do that over there.
Kyle, finish us off. Spit or swallow.
It's sort of tagging along with what Ryan was talking about, but I'm going to swallow Private Party getting opportunities again. Yes, keep them away from Hardy. Keep him away from Matt Hardy. That did not work, and I don't think it would work again. But if it, those two in the Acclaimed at the pay-per-view, take my money.
That'd be cool to see. That'd be cool to see.
It is weird how far they've fallen from like when Dynamite debuted to now.
Like they beat the Bucks like second week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
When they debuted, they were what the Acclaim are now. They were like the hottest young up and coming tag team.
And then Top Flight took their spot, and then Top Flight had injury issues and just fell the fuck apart. And then the Acclaimed finally got appreciated for just doing the same shit they've been doing since the beginning, and we just kind of started liking it all of a sudden one day.
I think for me, for Private Party, turning them heel felt so desperate because they were so over, and you just needed to book them well. They have an amazing move set. They're incredibly athletic. They're both uber talented. Mark Quinn had that solo match against Cody when he was doing his open challenge for the TNT title. That was fire too. Like it's for those guys, it's not hard. Just have them do cool athletic stuff and let them win matches.
See, for a company that's all about tag teams, they really haven't been doing a good job showcasing multiple tag teams at once. You have FTR, who have 8 sets of belts basically and are off defending those elsewhere, so they're not on TV. You have the Acclaimed, obviously. Lee and Swerve. The Bucks are suspended because people like to bite and fight. Private Party, who are just now coming back into the fold. Botcher and Bland, why are they still there?
I did love that they threw in that little insult about how his band broke up.
They did do that. But then the Dark Order, but that's really it. Well, John Silver's a star. He can go wherever.
Yes.
But that's really all you have kind of showcased.
And the Lucha Bros are off in the trios thing now, so like you've lost them from the tag division, and I guess that's the only trap with the trios thing too, is because now you need to have tag teams doing that thing as well. So yeah, it's tough.
If it's done correctly, this is how you utilize all this excess amounts of tag teams. Is you make some trios while some focus on the main tag titles, and then you just they intertwine. They change spots. You know
how you Wheeler utilize. That's for Justin if he's still here.
I think he might have fantastic.
left. All right. It is now the time of the show where Wednesday Night Wallop gets to tell everyone where they can find them on Twitter and social media and find your podcast and a little bit about yourself. So, Rylan and or Kyle, however you guys want to do it, please plug your show, plug yourselves.
We didn't prepare for this at all. I'm just kidding. You want to find any of our social medias at WN Wallop on Twitter, WN Wallop on Instagram, Wednesday Night Wallop on Facebook. If you want to follow us there, just look for myself and Kyle's name. It's black and yellow. It's pretty easy to find. Myself on Twitter, it's at RYAM Sport Report. And if you want to find the podcast, we're on Spotify, we're on Deezer, we're on Amazon Music, Podbean is kind of like our home base. That's where everything gets distributed. And yeah, so you just follow us there. And I really appreciate you guys having us on. This was fantastic. A lot of fun.
Bucket list item of the year that I wanted to check off. And I'm glad I got to do it today.
Absolutely. Kyle?
If you want to, for some reason, follow me on Twitter, you can do so. It is at LegendaryKJ. That is LeGendaryKJ. Yeah, it's this and curling. That's what I'm doing on Twitter. So
Kyle's got some hot curling takes. Okay.
Interesting.
Hot curling takes could also be a title of this episode.
Hot curling takes.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Oh, Canada.
Hardest working woman in wrestling podcast today, Miss Katie Kinsey Bay. Plug yourself for everyone watching.
You can follow me on Twitter at KatieWrestling13. Linktree in my bio to all things Elite Showcase. Twitch.tv/Elite Showcase. Typically Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern. Except this week we're going Wednesday after Dynamite because Savannah's going to California. YouTube.com/Elite Showcase. I would say watch the videos because they're way more entertaining. Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. If you like to listen, Elite Showcase is kind of just like the brand. So it's the weekly show. Inside the Mind of is an interview series I do where I interview people in podcasting and the wrestling community. Matt and Vince have both been on. Do I have an episode for Monday? Not yet. I will. I'll figure it out. Don't give me that look.
Me again.
No. Well, possible. If it comes down to it, I might have to. We'll talk. In the Crowd is on hiatus until Justin can figure out what the hell's happening with Getcho. My co-host Savannah, who's been in the chat the whole time, has a show, New Japan Takeover, which talks about all things New Japan, and will now have a whole sub-show about Dynamite and AEW called Light the Fuse, which will be debuting next week. So,
Vince,
yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at SESVince. Obviously, the link trees in my bio will take you to everything Straight Talk, Spitter Swallow, and Creation World. I haven't dropped a Straight Talk episode in about a month, but with the NBA season coming up, I'm going to a Bulls game next week, so I might be talking about that. So just go ahead and subscribe, follow, download everything there if you like the sports ball. If not, and you want to listen to me talk more wrestling, we're going to be doing the Spitter Swallow. Spitter Swallow is coming back. We're going to be doing a live Spitter Swallow recap for Extreme Rules, either right after the show or the Sunday evening afterwards. So stay tuned for next week. Extreme Rules Spitter Swallow. So, yeah.
And as always, you can follow me at my Ridders at MTTRIDDR on Twitter only. And now officially, instead of Smackin' Raw Pod, you can follow Getting Offed, which is the new horror podcast that we will be doing starting on Tuesday, possibly next week, depending on when Justin gets back to me. This week, it'll be me, Justin, and Katie. We will be talking Chucky, all things Chucky, including season 1, in anticipation of the season 2 premiere on Thursday next week. So if you are a horror movie fan, the 6th, right?
I thought it was the 5th.
I'm pretty sure it's the 6th, Katie.
Okay, well, I'll just go fuck myself then. Whatever.
If you do, can you please do it on Pornhub for us?
I heard that, and we're gonna fight, Vince.
I told you. I warned you. Anyway, you can follow at Getting Offed on Twitter only as well. Creation World is the banner under which the Smackin' Raw podcast exists, and you can follow them at creationworld.com. Linktree/Creation World on Twitter and Instagram at It's Creation World, ITSCREATIA World, and Facebook.com/Creation World. We also have Facebook group. It's Facebook.com/group/Smackin' Raw. So anything you want Smackin' Raw, anything you want Getting Off, and anything you want Creation World, you can find there. And like Vince said in his link tree, and then we have link trees as well. You know where to find me. You know where to find it. So for our new friends from the Wednesday Night Wallop, Rylan and Kyle, Daddy Delgado, and Miss Katie Kinsey Bebe, I am the patron saint of podcasting, the Warden Bat Ritter, and this has been the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Smackin' Raw podcast.
There you go.
That almost might be worse.
Because I had like a GT one that Matt just hated because he hates GT.
So Vince, if I ever hear that soundbite again, I'm a fuck Goldberg. Are you fucking kidding me?
I just did it because I told TC I would do it.
I warned him.
Oh boy.
I warned him.
I feel like this needs to be a strap match now.
Yeah, I'm for it. Let's go. Extreme Rules.
No, Vince can fuck off. I'm no.
It's all in good fun, Katie. I'm sorry.
No, I don't care. I'm so sick of that fucking meme.
TC's the one that made it, though.
I don't care. TC's not here.
I'm keeping.
I said it in the chat that I don't like it anymore.
She did, and I warned you.
So why the fuck do you all keep using it?
I don't know.
Sorry, Rylan and Kyle.
It's all good.
It's okay. It'll be okay. It was a one-time thing. It was.
Yeah, it better be a one-time thing.
It could be. Yet
It
yet
better
to be
be.
as long as Goldberg doesn't come up.
How about this? If Vince ever plays it again, Katie gets another point for Pornhub Poppy.
Done.
I guess. Sure.
Because she is legitimately upset, and we are not going to legitimately make her upset.
No, I mean, I wasn't legitimately trying to upset Katie. I was just trying to like play it just for the shits and the giggles. Just like when you bring up the whole I didn't believe in foreplay thing for about 6 or so months till you change the narrative to now I watch porn that looks like you.
I did not change that narrative. Your girlfriend changed that narrative.
That's all it was. But you bring it up consistently. So that's all I was doing. No harm. No harm was intended.
I don't care.
And if you got legitimately upset like she is now, I would stop bringing it up. So it's
Fair
no
enough.
no.
Fair enough. I'm sorry, Katie. I crossed the line. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
So Tuesday, getting offed.
Yeah. No, I'm
Yes.
everything Chucky this weekend to remind myself of everything.
But yeah, okay. Sorry, guys. This is my beat. This is my beat.
Yeah, you've made it weird, Vince.
I'm sorry.
Push it weird.
I'm
I
sorry.
enjoyed their company, and then you had to go make it weird.
I am deleting it from the branding. Okay, so I'm sorry. I was not trying to like make shit weird. I was not. So Kyle, Rylan, Katie, I'm sorry. Matt, I'm sorry.
I've seen Katie upset a few times, so
I've never seen Katie upset. So
Matt has seen me at my lowest. That's not fair.
I have not. So, anyways, sorry for that, guys. But thanks for being on, man. We appreciate it.
It was a
fun
fucking
show.
fantastic show.
It was a great
with
show.
you
It
guys.
was
I
a
had
great
blast.
show.
That was a lot of fun.
I'm glad you enjoyed. Yeah,
And
it was
I'd
a
love
lot
to
of
have
fun.
you back as long as Vincent ever plays that clip again. And
I'm not.
makes
I'm
this
not,
happen.
not going to.
So.
It's gone. It's deleted. It's not in the thing. You can see for yourself.
How
Matt can see for himself.
You've seen Savannah lower than her lowest, which is not a thing that can exist, but because the definition of lowest is kind of like that whole goat thing. Like you can't get lower than lowest.
I know what she's talking about though.
Now you got to strip to bring it back, Vince. See, we're back to Jesus wanting you to strip.
We're back to me stripping, apparently. No, but
Just drink
sorry.
water and don't be racist. Just follow that.
It's good advice. It's good advice.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
for
great
sure.
advice. It had to go on the water bottle. So
Yeah.
Oh man.
Completely different topic though.
Good. We should move on.
Have you guys like considered doing another trivia episode anytime soon?
We've talked about that for months. Years
Because
almost.
the last time I was on the show, I was like this close. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Kyle came in last minute and just finessed my win. Like I was like,
Kyle.
I'm hosting it, man. I was hosting.
You were hosting it. So then who came in and
Yes.
finessed my win?
I can't remember.
Were you on the first one?
I don't think it was the first one. No.
No, I think it was. What's his name? Our current reigning champion.
Oh, Rob.
Rob. It was
Rob.
Rob. Yes.
Yeah,
it was
we were
Rob
all in the same city, and he messages me and goes, "Hey, I'm in town for 2 weeks," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm busy." I couldn't. I didn't have the energy for Rob that time.
The short answer is yes. The long answer is I need a little bit of time to put it together. I'm trying to do a tournament of champions, but I need like 6 shows to be ready, and that means a lot of trivia answers.
a lot of trivia.
It's a lot of
I
trivia.
believe in you. I believe in you, Kyle. I think you can get it done.
I'm working on it. I'm hoping to do that so we can do that for the end of the year to get it back going again. But yeah, and I would also need people who would be willing to answer wrestling trivia and potentially,
Wait,
I will.
My camera's there. You go. I'm trying to point at Katie. I was like, Katie.
I mean, I don't know a lot. If it's like a timed thing, I panic. I don't do well with timed things, but I could try my best. I feel like I have a good bit
It's
of knowledge.
fun. He puts together the best wrestling quiz that anyone's ever put together. It's like Stump the Schwab, but for wrestling. It's
but
great.
it's not gonna be like super hard questions. I'm not gonna know anything. I'm a child.
No. There actually no. I won one of them, didn't I? I think I won the second episode. Then I was very mercilessly defeated in the episode after that.
It's usually not too bad. It gets like ramps up over time over the course of the show, but
okay.
Yeah, it's I definitely want to do it again. It's just a lot of work to get them together.
What's like the whole idea with the tournament, with like the whole tournament of champions? Like how do you envision it? Like just like working
like basically trying to put together get a bunch of people doing a show. Basically, I need competitors because Rob is very good, and I need to see it, and I kind of want to see him get taken down a little bit. So I want to get a group of people together. and do 3 or 4 shows to set up some people for like a semifinal, final type of thing.
You basically just want to gather a group of people to take down Rob, is what I'm hearing.
It's
Rob is the
It
guy
needs-
we go to for all our like information for when we do our Wednesday night rewinds. Like the man is a ridiculously the knowledgeable person about just the most obscure wrestling too.
and is very arrogant.
Yes,
Ah.
yes, he will never let you live in doubt.
Gotcha. That's I understand.
He's a heel champion for
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we need a
Vince, we definitely need to get you back on the sports report since basketball's coming up again.
Dude, like that's what I was going to talk to you about, man. Like, cause like I'm trying to do straight talk, but like sometimes like scheduling with my co-host Bashara, like it's kind of hard because it's usually like late at night, and like late at night it's usually the only times I get to hang out with Melissa. So it's like, do I want to do my podcast or do I want to spend time with my significant other? No choices. And I feel like spending time with my significant other is more important than doing the Straight Talk podcast. So, like, if you're ever available in the morning, man, we can get this going. What?
I'm your significant other. Melissa's just your side piece.
Oh my god! I'm glad she's asleep and didn't hear that. She might jump.
She
on
would
the show.
agree.
No,
She said that you and I have a better relationship than you and her do.
she didn't say that. She
did.
We had a conversation. She overheard it, and she said, "You guys have one of the healthiest relationships I've ever seen."
I wouldn't call that relationship healthy, but
I think our relationship's very healthy.
I think it's healthy.
I think relationships a smidge toxic, but that's okay.
Listen, I'm Rhea Ripley. He's Dominic Mysterio. It's all good.
Sir,
So you're Rhea and he's Dom. Okay.
I'm dumb.
Listen, we can only say that when my wife is not. Luckily, she's asleep. We're not allowed to talk about that. Speaking of which, tomorrow is our 5-year anniversary, and I asked her what she wanted to do for our 5-year anniversary, and she said she didn't know. And I threw a suggestion out there that I did not think she was going to go for, and she actually did. So now we will be spending the night of our 5-year anniversary at a strip club.
No shot. Nice.
Right.
Well,
Wow,
she's
you
always
really-
said like she's always said she's never been and she's wanted to go, and in my scumbag youth days, a lot of strippers through college. So I was like, oh, we can go to a strip club. You've always wanted to do that. And she's like, actually, yeah, and got a babysitter and everything. So yeah.
Oh, man.
That's so funny.
Wow.
That is excellent.
Well, are you gonna have like story time with Matt Ritter next week and tell us all about the experience?
Depends on how it goes. In cases like that, you have to be very careful what you talk about on the show, because if she hears it and gets pissed off that I divulge personal information that she wouldn't want people to know, then I could be getting a divorce, and I hear those are very expensive. So,
Dude, even breaking up is
Real
expensive now.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
100%, 100%. No,
And also, Shotzi doesn't know she's my significant other, so it's a little different.
That's true.
so she doesn't know.
This is kind of a one-sided relationship where
Is it
I
It's a
fawn
Dexter
over her and she
Loomis
doesn't know I
miss-
exist.
is it Shotzi or is it the Tank?
It's Shotzi.
The tank is a bonus.
The
Right.
tank is a toy.
Like if Aaliyah came out on a tank, I wouldn't give a fuck about the tank. Like, it is what it is.
Oh, fuck Aaliyah, man. Fuck Aaliyah. Like, there's a pecking order to this, like, fuck you hate that I have. And Aaliyah's number one. Then it's Jericho. Then it's Wardlow. But in that order. In that order.
Such an interesting list.
It doesn't help that 2/3 of that list is Canadian. not by design. Not by design. Oh, man.
Vince, just because I haven't asked you, and
Yes.
Matt, you feel free to answer this too, just because you guys are both Chicago guys. CM Punk, what happened with this guy? Like, like what happened? This all fell apart pretty quick, real fast.
I feel we got the accelerated WWE CM Punk experience. We just got it over a year instead of
He just
7.
came quickly. and blew his load. That's all it was. He couldn't handle it. You know, like so inexperienced, like so very little action throughout the years. You know, like you just come quickly. You know, like, you just it happens, man, and it happens to the best of us. I think that's all it was.
Do you think he comes back?
I think he's going to come eventually.
Are you guys ready for an unpopular opinion?
Sure.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with what CM Punk did, what he's been doing, what's been going on. I argued with Savannah last week about how being in an executive vice president role means that they need to be held to a higher standard and they should act in a way that represents executive vice presidents. However, from my opinion, from what I've seen, one, he had this whole thing with Colt Cabana. It happened. He hasn't talked about it in years. Then Hangman Page is bringing it up. The Bucks and Kenny are bringing it up in interviews and talking about it slyly. But and again, they're in executive positions. They should not be bringing up his person and making it a thing and blah, 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 blah. You got that guy in the crowd who's chanting Colt Cabana at him. And he got sick of it and he set it off. He's like, this has been over. This has been handled. I'm done with it. You go into the media scrum and Nick Houseman, who has worked with Colt Cabana, who broke some news about Colt Cabana and CM Punk, like that whole thing. And he's been involved in that, is the first person to ask a question. And he went off. He went off on Nick Houseman and the whole thing because it's been repeatedly shoved in his face. Do I agree? Do I think he was in the wrong? Yeah, no, he probably shouldn't have done it. It was probably a bad look. However, it happened, and I don't necessarily 100% blame him for being sick of having to talk about it all these years later and people throwing it back in his face and bringing it up and making a big deal out of it. I've said that CM Punk is 40 whatever years old. He had just got done with a match. He does not move fast enough to surprise or sucker punch anybody coming through a door. It's not happening. There's no way he moved that quickly across the room. So they knew he was coming, and he kicked three guys' asses who are the elite. It is what it is. Again, they're EVPs. They should be handling things differently because they are in executive vice president roles. Exactly. Everyone was wrong in this situation. However, in my personal opinion, everything that CM Punk has done up to this point is forgivable, and he's not as wrong as the vice presidents who, in my opinion, put him in this position by running their mouths behind his back when he is one of your top stars and someone who is your champion, and then B, taking him up on an offer to go confront him as vice. Like, if I were to tell my vice president at my job, hey, you got anything you want to fucking say to me, come see me and we'll handle it. They probably shouldn't come see me and try to handle it face to face because, again, they're vice presidents. Like, they are held to a higher standard than I would be.
It's similar to, like, for instance, like, it's minor and not exactly the same, but like, let's say I'm at work and a customer says, fuck you, man. You got a problem with me? Let's take this outside then. And me going outside. You know, I feel like it's similar, but you know, like not to that extent. Like you kind of like have to show a little bit of restraint. And it's like you go with Tony, you're like, hey, what's this issue? And this is more on Tony. Like if anyone has the biggest fault, it's on Tony for like not squashing this sooner. You saw this back when Hangman was going off on Punk, when Punk went off on Hangman unannounced, unprovoked, and you didn't handle this. So I'm gonna lay the biggest fault and the biggest goose egg dropped here is on Tony. But yeah, everyone's wrong here, including the Bucks, including Kenny.
Mostly,
especially Kenny, because he stole Larry. He was trying to steal Larry from CM Punk. He was trying to steal the dog, saying that he was saving the dog when that was not the case. So we do not condone stealing other men's.
You know what?
Personal,
that's the other thing.
Personal.
Because Bakley said it. Everyone's wrong, but CM Punk has a past of being like this, and that's what everyone does. CM Punk is CM Punk. CM Punk said what he said and did what he did in WWE. And when I heard CM Punk's side of the story, I, again, didn't see an issue with what CM Punk had to say or why he went about the business that he went about with WWE. Like, if I said I'm hurt and I go to them, and the doctor's telling me I'm fine, and then it turns out I've got a fucking staph infection, and I'm really bad, and they keep putting me in matches with somebody who's fucking unsafe, like Ryback, knowing that he's unsafe to be in the ring with, like, and you keep promising me things that you don't deliver on. I would have been disgruntled and upset too. I would have left as well. Like, that's the thing. You keep giving this guy a platform to air his grievances, and then you crucify him for doing so.
Yeah.
You expect CM Punk to not be CM Punk, and I don't understand that. I don't get the idea of why anyone expects CM Punk to not be CM Punk.
And that's a fair point. That's definitely a fair point. I'm a huge fan, right? So like this whole thing just kind of like, my concern is that like I think there's money on the table now. And I think that it would be beneficial for all these guys to sit down and be like, that was stupid. Let's maybe make some fucking money together now. Like that's where I'm at.
I think best case scenario here for everyone involved is to actually sit down like grown ass men. That includes the Bucks, that includes Kenny, that includes Punk. Sit your dumbasses down. Realize that this is a missed opportunity. If there's like some beef here, just like try to squash it, man. Y'all grown. Behave.
And we should do the same thing between you and Katie before we get off here and squash that beef that you created by making this awkward.
I did. I like the only thing that was missing from that.
There's money on the table here between you two, and I don't want to ruin that.
But there is. We like I mentioned, like we've done fantastic episodes. Whenever I do fantasy booking episodes, like they've all been with Katie, and because she's got a great mind with us. So like I said, like during the show, like genuinely, I'm sorry, Katie. I wasn't trying to genuinely upset you. I didn't realize I must have missed that part where it upset you that much, because there was some stuff that was upsetting me on the show that was being said. I addressed it to Matt. He didn't realize, and I'm sorry. I'm like I said, I removed it. It won't be played on my end ever again. So I am sorry.
It's fine. I'm over it. I don't fucking.
I say we crown Katie Pornhub Poppy now. Just
sounds like a good time for me.
I'm joking, Vince. I won't do that to you.
No, it's genuinely fun.
Just throw a
chair at him.
Yeah, and bite him.
And then Vince can pretend that he was just worried about the dog and he wasn't really there to do anything.
Oh my god.
See,
that's hilarious. Wait,
you teased the people and now they want it.
Before we sign off though, Rylan, you forgot to ask Matt during the show. So I think you should ask Matt before we sign off.
All right. I gotta ask, why Pornhub? What was like when you were sitting down to do a wrestling podcast? At what point were you like, we got to put it on Pornhub?
All right. So it just kind of, so when I started this podcast, I started it with two people, one of which is Travis, who runs Creation World, who I have known since third grade. And obviously like the whole idea of Smackin' at Raw being a euphemism for SmackDown and Raw, as well as masturbation, just kind of like who we are. And like when we started the podcast, he's like, yeah, when I asked him to start this podcast, he's like, yeah, as long as you call it Smackin' Raw, we can do it. So we would go through and we would do episodes after my other co-host left, where it was just me and Travis, because it wasn't never supposed to just be me and Travis. That's why he's not here right now. And I was just throwing things at the wall, a bunch of different ideas that I had, joking around. And there's so many fucking podcasts out here in the wrestling space that do WWE, that do New Japan, that do AEW, that do all of this stuff. And I was like, how can we do something different? And I remember scrolling through Pornhub, because I spend a lot of time there at night before I go to bed, and seeing like people playing video games and shit on Pornhub, and like just posting clips of them playing video games and shit. And I'm like, well, if they can do that, we can put our podcast on Pornhub. And I'm like, hey, Travis, if you do that, and we're the only wrestling podcast on Pornhub, then we can call ourselves the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub. And if it actually becomes a thing and people start doing it, we can call us the first wrestling podcast on Pornhub if we're not number one anymore. And it sets us apart from everyone else. And it also even though it was very awkward when I addressed Katie and a few other women the first time, and I asked them if they wanted to come on Pornhub with me, especially as a married man. It's been a great gimmick to get people to want to come do the show with us. Like, if they haven't heard of the show, if they haven't listened to us, if they don't know how fucking entertaining I am, because I am, humble brag,
Humble brag,
or how much fun they're going to have coming and doing the show. If you tell them, hey, do you want to come do a wrestling podcast on Pornhub? That's enough of a hook for them to be like, yeah, that sounds cool. Let me try that out. Like,
I told that to Rylan, and he was like intrigued just by the moment I said that.
Oh yeah. I was just, well, number one, like, I'm never going to get on there otherwise. So, like, let's take the thing that I know and apply it and go places. So, wrestling is what I know. And
that's why.
Makes a ton of sense. It's a real good marketing plan.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of brilliant ideas. I wanted to start a wrestling dating site called One Fall, where you just plug in a bunch of your see.
Oh, that's how I do it. That's how I find the one.
I have all these ideas, and this is the only one Travis ran with. So
he picked at least one of them. He doesn't pick any of my ideas. So.
Are we not streaming live right now?
I feel like he already had that in mind, and I just Vince, I'm already doing
learn how to take a fucking win. For weeks, you were like, I really want to go live. We should go live. I want to go live. And then we have a meeting, and you bring up how you want to go live. And Travis is like, yeah, that was in the works. I want to do that. Just take the win that you got what you wanted, and we are now live every week. Learn how to take a win.
Oh, man.
Fine. No, but yeah, no, and then like the whole like concept of like the whole spit or swallow, it's unique to just us.
Yeah.
Which like it's always kind of like, man, like I gotta explain it to these people, like are they gonna get it? Or some people are gonna be uncomfortable by it? Like we've had people that aren't comfortable with it and then eventually warm up, and some people come in here and like these are like the straightest of men, and they're like out here just like feeling the gimmick and just like in the spirit of things. I think that's
I'm gonna swallow the whole load that Dexter Loomis has. Like, just graphic, fantastic descriptions.
Graphic, vulgar, everything. Like they get creative. It's the straightest of men that come in here and become so creative with the whole concept. And like,
because men are gross. No offense.
Point taken.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. But given the fact that I said I wanted to be in bed by 1 a.m. and it's about to be 1:30, I do have to sign off. You guys are more than welcome to hang out because, like, I'm glad I was able to bring both of you guys together with Katie and Matt. Kyle. Sorry. I saw Kyle's name and I just read Kyle.
He's getting PTSD flashbacks.
PTSD. Don't remind me, Katie. Don't remind me. I'm having a whole Jey Uso moment here. But yeah, I do got to sign out. Rylan, Kyle, thank you guys for like coming out here. Like I said, this was a bucket list goal of mine. There's still 2 other content creators I want to have on the show, but like I'm glad I got this going. I still want to get my revenge on that trivia show whenever Kyle gets that going.
You're never getting Josh Robinson, by the way. So
I'll be sure to let you know.
Why you gotta call me out like that? Why you gotta put me on the spot?
Because I know that is one of the 2. Because I've heard you say it relentlessly. Both of us have hit him up, and it's not going to happen.
I've never actually hit him up, so I've never shot my shot.
I have repeatedly. One time he said he was down and then never got back to me, and the next time he just ghosted me and ignored me. So it's not going to happen.
Damn.
We'll see. Never say never.
Oh man.
Kylie did get back to me today, though.
You guys should
really.
Yeah.
You guys should really try and get the post wrestling guys because my God, the 2 of them on this format of a show, fantastic. I think it would be great.
You know who would be great on this show, and I forgot to mention it during the actual recording of it. Is I want Excalibur and William Regal on the show. And I want them to spit and gargle each other.
I don't need Excalibur. I just want William Regal on the phone.
No.
I don't do interviews, but I'll interview William Regal.
I need Excalibur on here so that William Regal can drool all over him.
I mean, I can get William Regal to talk about Excalibur. Like, I don't need him to be here for that.
I'm persuasive. I can get him to talk about him.
There you go. But
people open up when I talk.
That's true. You heard it here first, guys. Katie's really good at getting people to open up. So, and on that note, I'll sign off. Later, guys. Good night.
Bye.
Thanks again. Later.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be okay, Katie? Are you okay?
Yeah. I'm fine.
You've just been very quiet since the end of the show. I'm trying to bring you back from the edge of frustration and anger.
The edge of wanting to strangle Vince.
Yes.
That's probably a category on Pornhub too.
Wanting to strangle Vince. Specifically?
Let's take a look here real quick.
He's probably already got Pornhub up.
Pornhub.com. Well, I did, but I was looking at Creation World's videos.
Oh.
So,
yeah, can't be fucking with your alcohol and shit there.
Strangle Vince. No results found.
Oh, wow.
How about choke Vince?
That might break up some. I'd be surprised if there was none.
Rocco Safridi, hot bullying girl, gets triple destroyed at gym as a result. Petite fuck dog gets choked and fucked in rough sex shoot.
There it is.
Almost choked with my dick, a lot of sperm and spit. Choke me hard, daddy. And she is wearing a Pornhub blindfold in fishnets and a dog collar. Good morning, fucking choking. I just love getting it. I just love getting while a big cock's shoved in my mouth. You can edit.
Porn titles are getting lazier and lazier.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can edit your porn titles and make them
like
I used to Twitter.
I used to work at like a 99-cent movie store, and Friday nights when the college guys would come and get the softcore porn, that's when you saw some titles. That's when.
This is my favorite one. Destroy my goth teen pussy, sir. POV.
POV. Not the POV. Oh God.
And she looks way more emo than she does goth. Like she's got a beanie on and her hair's blue.
Oh yeah, it's emo.
Oh my lord. It never ceases to amaze me.
And I've gotten down to the point to where I'm no longer looking at this anymore. Because the title is, if your team wins, then swap mom and I will show you our titties. What does it have to do with choking or Vince? I don't.
Yeah.
Neither.
Now it's just trying to push content on you.
Yeah. It's like YouTube.
It's like a YouTube ad.
It's a YouTube ad.
It's past my bedtime, bruh.
Yeah. That's my co-host.
She's having a real hard time getting her sentences out tonight.
Yeah. I don't know.
You haven't heard Vince, but I had to see Vince in the video, so you know.
Oh Lord.
See, Kyle, these are the things we can look forward to, like comments at the bottom as we're doing the show when we go over the it'll be incredibly distracting and great, but it'll be doing our top 5 and then break off into a tirade about something.
The problem is that I have an immediate visceral reaction to puns. So if I see puns, then it's like, yeah, it stops me mid sentence, and that's not usually how you want to do things on a talk show.
I do all the time.
A friend of our show, Clark Street Wrestling was streaming earlier today, right after SmackDown, and they were talking about whether or not Mox was the right pick for the championship, or should it have been Daniel Bryan? And they decided that Mox was the right pick, and so on and so forth. However, I disagree. I am personally of the belief that Daniel Bryan has a limited window that you can actually do this with him. And if you're going to do it, you need to pull the trigger. And that would have been the right time to pull the trigger. And that Daniel Bryan being beaten by MJF is going to do more for MJF than Mox being beaten by MJF. But that's just my personal opinion. However, when I went in their comments, and it was one that he did not put up on the screen, I'm a little hurt, Devin, that you didn't share this. I said that putting or strapping Mox is like deciding to do a porno with Sarah J when Angela White's available.
Sorry.
Touche.
I just all I want for Mox is him to be able to go on his 8-week fishing trip. Like, come on, just give the guy a break.
As a Renee Paquette fan, she has been delayed this vacation for long enough.
Just give this woman her fucking vacation, Tony.
Or just
Khan,
let her
for
go on
the love
vacation
of
by
God.
herself. Like, why does she need to be with Mox?
No. Let her be with her husband and her child.
Well, she's a mom now. She might want to get away from both of them. Go out on her own.
She has that opportunity.
They have videos about that on Pornhub too.
All right.
Do you think he bleeds? Do you think he bleeds on vacation?
Probably. He's got to keep it up.
Jesus Christ. If he does,
He's going one day and it's like Cuckold Resort. Renee's in the video.
The one that the Moxley blade job that always gets me is the Tanahashi match, because I'm just like, there's no number one, you did not need a blade job in that match. Number two, he hit a sling blade. He busted him open with a sling blade. It's ridiculous.
As you do.
Blade is in the title, so he's like, oh, Blade.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, come on now, it's right there.
Moxley's head must be like Dusty Rhodes. Just you flick it and he's just gushing. Like,
Cody's is.
Yes. Well, yeah, he's got his father's forehead.
Yep. So you liked JD McDun Dun Dun?
It did. It was a good one.
Very good.
It's different because we've done the JD McDonald's, JD McFunko head ass. I always call him the George Lopez as a kid looking head ass because it's definitely him. But the dun dun dun, I like that one.
Cody walks could run with the blood.
Oh, right. Joe Gacy's the one that stole the grizzled young veterans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. I forgot that those. I keep forgetting that they ruined those two. I was a big fan.
The only thing that I think that was positive that came out of that was I think Jagger Reed is a badass name. That's a badass name. I like Jagger Reed. Other than that, though, it's all trash. It's all trash. Why do they need two different names? Why are they Schism when it's the three of them and then the Dyad when it's the two of them? Like, what is that stupidity?
I don't know.
Like, is that still some like Pritchard and Vince stuff that's slowly being oozed out, or is that like Sean's just like he's off his rocker? Show.
Well, I don't know if it's an unpopular. I don't necessarily know that Sean has the booking acumen that Triple H had, and I'm not necessarily sure. I really enjoy the Shawn Michaels NXT. Not as much as I like. Don't get me wrong. There are people and things that he's doing that I do enjoy, and so on and so forth. It's just there's a bit of stylistic flair that you'd expect Shawn Michaels to have that just doesn't really seem to be there in a lot of the booking decisions and things he does. So I don't necessarily 100% know if that was a Vince thing or if that's a that's a Shawn Michaels thing.
Like, you know, our show started as a every week we'd watch, one of us would watch Dynamite, one of us would watch NXT, and we'd switch back and forth. And that just got to a point where we were just like, okay, we can't. It's like it's a Technicolor Dreamcoat now. Like, what happened here? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there were I thought War Games was fun when they still had like the remnants of what was Triple H's NXT, but It just came a
I think-
point where I was like, no, I'm done with this. I can't do it.
The start of the problems was when, because NXT, the nice thing about it is kind of like college sports. You get to see these people for a few years, and then they leave, and you get more people cycled in. It was when the pipeline stopped for a bit, and like Gargano and Ciampa had finished all their feuds, and there was nothing left for them to do, and yet they're still there because Vince couldn't think of something to do with them, and it was a lot.
See, I don't know, because my whole thing is I feel like NXT, if they hadn't been pillaged from all of their stars and had to keep starting over and pushing guys to the main event, which is why we got the carrying crosses and some of the things at the end, that like why we ended up having Kyle O'Reilly in the main event, and some of the things that were kind of a flop there at the end. If they didn't keep taking these people away, and if you had been able to leave like Aleister Black down there or Keith Lee down there, it would have been a sustainable third brand. But because every time Vince or Triple H pushed someone to that level to where they felt like a star, Vince went and grabbed them and took them away. Now you don't have that anymore. Now you've got to start from scratch as they're building momentum.
Where it went wrong, if they had to do it that way, where it went wrong is that the people who failed the main roster should have been allowed to go back down and had a chance to recapture some of that magic. Because like there were points where it was like, I mean, you have Ricochet just sitting there, doing stuff. Have him have him do something. You'd be better off going and having, which he did, went and had matches on NXT, and it was great. But like, why have a guy like that signed and have him on main event?
Ricochet, Mustafa Ali, T-Bar.
Oh, I miss Dijak so much.
I'm so happy that they go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I'm so happy that they just put him in the game anyway, so you could at least play as him and recapture some of that glory.
There, by the way, if you need it, if you use hashtag SIR, am available for download on 2K, and I am fantastic. I'm better in 2K than I am in podcasting. So do with that what you will.
Me too. Me too.
I mean, I'm not physically better at the game. I just mean like the character itself is so much better than I am as a podcaster. But yeah, no, we got a bunch of stuff there that's available. But I really need to get back on that. I get so distracted. Like I start doing shit and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, and then I'm like, oh, it's October and I gotta start watching horror movies, and oh yeah, we have Return to Wrestling where I'm watching through WCW, and I gotta like remind Travis that hey, we need to record an episode, which means I gotta watch like 4 weeks of WCW in a pay-per-view and then talk about that 1 week every month, and a lot of shit going on.
For the last like 8 months, I've been watching Nitro from the beginning till the end, and I'm in 2000 now, and it's I kind of just stopped for the last few weeks. I had to take a break. There's only so much of like like Stevie Ray on commentary I can handle.
We started at the first Nitro, and then through the first pay-per-view after the first Nitro, and we've been doing one episode a month, and we just got done with Uncensored 97. So next up I think is Spring Stampede 97. So also I hate Hulk Hogan, so this whole thing has just been Travis torturing me repeatedly over and over again.
Oh, it doesn't get better.
I know. I know.
Rather, because that was the thing. I was like sort of a wrestling fan as a kid, but I came back to it as an adult. So I am being taken back to watch WCW from the late 90s, early 2000s, and it's, as someone who also equally hates Hulk Hogan with a passion, not a good time.
Kyle's favorite WCW commentator is Mark Madden.
Oh my god. Because I remember I used to watch those the NFL top 10s. It's like, who's this annoying guy from Pittsburgh who keeps talking about Steelers stuff? I cannot stand the sound of his voice or anything that he has to say. And then I watched the first pay-per-view, and it's like, where did I know that voice from? Oh, it's that guy. Oh no, he's on here for the full 3 hours, eh?
Mark Madden's Katie's uncle. So
Okay, relax. No, he's not. No, most of Pittsburgh does not claim Mark Madden. We can't stand him either. So just be rest assured. And also, fuck you, he's not my uncle. He's also from Pittsburgh. That's not how this works.
I was like, you guys didn't know her last name was Madden, did you? Katie Madden.
No.
Oh man.
Of the famous Maddens of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Maddens.
Mark Madden is so bad that he in 2022 Ric Flair was like, "Nah, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I don't want anything to do with you. You can't host my podcast anymore."
That does suck.
I see. I'm having Mongo, and as a Chicagoan, Mongo was hard for me on commentary.
I feel like he had his moments, but it was like very few and far between. Mark Madden was grading all over.
Dusty Rhodes is my favorite WCW commentator of all time, baby. Let me tell you, there is nothing like hearing Dusty Rhodes call a froggy splash. It is my favorite thing I've ever heard. I need so much more Dusty Rhodes.
It's the way that it doesn't seem right you doing that voice without the sunglasses.
I mean, I can put them on.
You don't have to put them on. You don't have to bring him out. It's okay. Take him off. Take him off. Don't do it. That's a whole nother rabbit hole we do not need to go down.
Voice acting? Yeah, I've been the one that we're doing right now on our show is Jericho Appreciation Society, the pinnacle of sports entertainers.
Katie does that real good too.
Was sports entertainers. It's so fun to say.
As Canadians, we want everyone to know that we don't claim Quebec, just like you don't claim. I like elements of Quebec. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn.
Y'all are just not claiming a whole. What do you like? Part of Canada?
Province.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's the word I was trying to say. I couldn't figure it out.
They would prefer that they don't claim us, really.
Oh,
but
is there some Canadian beef that we don't know about?
See now, Savannah, because I'm white, I can say that Katie's uncle is Mark Madden. However, I feel like it's racist if I say your uncle is Eddie Guerrero, so we're not going to go there. Because Katie's bottle says drink water and don't be racist, and I just feel like if I'm like Eddie Guerrero's your uncle, then it's racist. So no, we're not doing
drink
that.
water and don't be a racist from AOC herself.
Very nice.
Yeah, province. I know Bakley.
So what Katie was actually talking about, because it's not really voice acting, is there's a character that throughout the show randomly pops up for short appearances that I've called the Rack that does that voice but wears sunglasses. He is a gender fluid trisexual who just kind of comes on to make everyone feel awkward, not a place, and flirts with the guests in a way that they don't enjoy. So
it's as you would.
As I've been told, it's Dusty Rhodes with a little bit of sugar in the tank. So
it's
that's fantastic.
It's a time.
And fun fact, the Rack is the whole reason that clip that Vince played of Katie exists.
Yep.
In the first place. So like full
circle.
Circle.
let me give some context to that clip because it's been brought up enough. That interview series I do, Matt interviewed me because people wanted it, and I was like, okay. So we decided to make it a drinking game for me, and he had all of our friends ask questions, and if I couldn't guess who asked it, I had to take a shot. Well, I got none correct, so I took about like 16, 17 shots.
Ooh.
Span of like an hour and a half ish, give or take. They ended up not being full shots. At one point, I had maybe like that much in a shot glass because I was like, I'm gonna actually die. I ended up throwing up after the fact. But so the Rack came on a few times to ask me questions because people requested the Rack ask their question and shit like that. So one of them was a fuck, marry, kill between Jar Jar Binks, Draco Malfoy, and Goldberg. And now it seems like a very random group of people, but I like just watched like the entirety of the Star Wars movies last year, and I fucking hate Jar Jar Binks, so I killed him
As you
instantly. Thank you. And I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Like that's like my childhood was Harry Potter. So I married Draco, and I was like, okay, well the only thing left is to fuck Goldberg. But as the rack, Matt kind of saved it. He was like, I don't remember exactly what you said. Something like he wouldn't last long anyway, so it'd be over with and done. And I was like, exactly. But then that specific part got taken out of fucking context, and for months, every once in a while, our friends decide to throw it back in my face, and I just got fucking fed up with it and flipped on Vince.
Also, fun fact, she just did a podcast recently where she was shitting on Goldberg, and I didn't realize she was this upset about it. So I took that Jordan meme where his hands are out and I put her face on it with "I'm a fuck Goldberg" and sent it to her. So that was kind of where she was like, "I'm done with this. This is over."
And that was
we now
this
made
week.
a meme of it. I'm pissed.
Oh.
And then Vince told me that he had that, and I told Vince this. I didn't know she'd be legitimately as upset as she was, but I did tell Vince she will fucking kill you if you play that, because he wanted me to talk about how Goldberg said that he should be the one to dethrone Roman Reigns, or I know how we could beat Roman Reigns. It's me. Like, get the fuck out of here, Goldberg. And I was like, well, I'm going to try and keep news and rumors real short, and I'm not going to do that, so we can get more spits and swallows in the show, since you have to leave by 1 and I have to end the show by 1. I want to make sure we have enough time. Because normally we run about 2 hours, and we ran about an hour and a half. So
yeah,
we would have been finishing up half an hour ago, roughly. We would have had more time. So I wanted to make sure we had enough time to get into everyone's spits and swallows, which is why I didn't throw in the Goldberg thing. But that was when he planned on playing it, was when Goldberg was brought up. And then he's like, oh, don't worry, I'll figure out a time. I'm like, dude, she's going to fucking kill you, but do whatever you want.
And slain he was.
Yeah. We had a podcast that I think it ended up being 5 people on it. A group of us did, where Rylan and his friend had a holiday that they call All Jaeger's Eve. So there is a podcast on our feed that exists that is 4 hours long on a constant supply of Jaeger.
5 hours long.
It unravels so quickly, and I have never been able to make it through the whole thing.
There just comes a point where it's just almost incoherent. Like, we tried to do lists of like top 5 concerts we've been to and top 5, whatever, and it just like we were so shit faced by the time we got to the lists that was just the hardest part, and we had them in front of us too.
Yeah, it was rough.
The following year, the follow-up podcast was much better. Only 3.5 hours, and nobody puked.
Oh, there you go. That's a plus.
Oh yeah, we do have to tighten up the Jaeger podcast in the future. But
listen, Kyle, it's Christmas time. It's 2 days before Christmas. It could be a 3 to 4 hour podcast.
2 days before.
You can one day a year, Kyle.
He's like, just give me 1 day, please.
We just did. I was just in Winnipeg visiting family and friends for the first time in 5 years. So it was the first time Kyle and I got to do the podcast in person.
Nice.
And we also did an episode with the buddy that he was mentioning. We do a comedy show on the network, and we ended up going for about 2 hours, but we tried to do like the exit or the outro to the show, and I, so drunk on Sambuca, looked at Kyle and went, we didn't talk about the Queen. And that led into another like 35 minutes of conversation.
It didn't need to either. I don't know that
there was listen, I listened to it today. After we stopped talking about the Queen, that was only 10 minutes. You started talking about what if you won $1 billion and what would you use the money on? And we were all like, that's what dominated that 45 minutes.
That's fair.
All right. So I need you guys' help with something, because I need to have a name for this show so I can upload it tonight for Travis. So I have the list of the stuff that we saved for names of the show. I think -1 at the end, which I don't even remember what it was, so it's not important. So we're gonna vote, and anyone that's still in the chat, you guys can vote along with us. Our options are European 3-way, Support a Dick, Bad Dad Slayer, or Snap Crackle Pop Me.
Oh, it's got to be Snap Crackle Pop Me.
Honestly, I agree with Rylan.
I feel like I'm on board with Bad Dad Slayer though.
See, I'm torn between those
I
two.
want a shirt that says that. Like,
Honestly, same.
Both either one of those would be great. Yeah. So
Yeah, I think it's okay. So we narrowed it down to those two.
Looks like the
Snap, Crackle, Pop. Yep.
Snap Crackle Pop Me. All right.
Yes.
Yes. Episode 2, because I texted Vince and told him that I have to come up. I'm like, you can pick the thumbnail, but I've got to pick because I'm guessing he's trying to sleep right now. I'm still texting him, so whoops.
Whoops.
Snap, Crackle. If I can spell correctly.
I can never spell, so that's okay.
Pop me.
So good.
It's the way that he just said it so casually too.
I'm so happy, Kyle, that you remembered that because I had forgotten that when putting together what I was going to talk about, and yeah, that was one of my favorite moments.
I feel like I had to because it's been coming up every week and
yes,
building and building. I'm fascinated to see where it goes because and the great thing about it is like it's Danielson or Moxley or Wheeler Yuta. Between the three of those guys, he's going to be on the show every week.
Mm-hmm. And Claudio, he comes up with
Claudio too. Yeah.
Do you guys know how hard it is for me to try and come up with something inventive to say at the beginning of every episode? Like I thought it was going to be easy. It is not easy to come up with like the #1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub where blank. Like I struggle so hard because I don't want it to be something about scissoring or daddy ass every week.
Well, it's because you used to just start the show with the following podcast that contains mature content. Like that's how you used to start it.
The host with discretion is advised.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, yeah, that's how you used to start every episode. But now you have it like queued up for you, so you're lost.
It's not that I'm lost. It's finding that ... that thing to say after where that ties in Pornhub and wrestling. I wish I had kept a list of the things I've said because I think I've said where a money shot isn't just how you finish a match; it's how you finish a scene.
You did say that.
That's fantastic. That Val Venus reference, I love that.
Yeah, a bunch of other things. So I just. Standing 69 or Tombstone, I just kind of pulled out of thin air on my drive here as I was practicing the intro. I was like, that'll work for today.
I mean, it works.
I mean, this is your burden as the host of the #1 podcast on Pornhub.
It is.
You've got to. This is what the people need.
It's my cross to bear
what
now.
they want.
You got really deep there for a second. Well, we are on Pornhub though, so getting deep is kind of the thing, I suppose.
All right, there it is. You could use something like that for next week.
That's the pieces are
#1 wrestling podcast on Pornhub where we don't just go deep, we go deep 6.
Oh, okay. It's not where I thought you were going with it. Yeah, I like
or
little Happy Corbin there.
Or deep 6 isn't just in inches. That's the one. Write that down.
Yeah, it's because it popped me.
Yep.
The thing is, it's too bad it's not his finisher because then you could do deep 6 as a happy ending. But
yep.
If only.
They really pair him with JBL. Like I haven't been paying too much attention.
I think they did.
They did, but they haven't done shit with it since they did. So
yeah,
that was Vince's last stand. He's like, bring JBL back, and then somebody was like, all right, we got to get him the fuck out of here. This is
all right. Get him off.
Bringing the cowboy guys back.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. All right. It is now 2:00, and I'm going to fall asleep. And
Hey, you're on the same time zone as we are. Look at that.
Not me.
Oh,
y'all
Jesus,
don't,
that's great.
yeah,
Oh.
y'all don't want to hear me snort. Yes, you're in Ontario, and it is 3 there.
Yes. Like, ooh, okay.
Well,
Wow.
welcome back
This
to
is normal
Eastern
for me.
time, my friend.
Where are you, Kyle?
I'm in Winnipeg.
Okay. I did not
Yeah.
know Winnipeg and Chicago shared a time zone. That's interesting.
Yeah. Where it's, yeah, I mean, it's not too far off. Like, I mean, we're just west of. It's basically we're directly north of Minneapolis. So, deal with that geography what you will.
Before I let you go, real quick. Last week we said what was it? It was we were talking about Canada and it was something Alberta, Canada.
Calgary.
Calgary, Edmonton.
It might have been Edmonton, Alberta,
might have been
Canada, and
Edmonton,
someone in the chat corrected us, and it was like Edmonton something. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Edmonton, Alberta. Like, I'm pretty sure Edmonton is the city, Alberta is the
Province.
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 There you go. That's the word.
Word of the day.
And then
Province.
Canada is Canada. Like,
Yes.
I thought I had that right. I had to make sure.
Yeah, we had to ask.
Canadian.
We had to ask Canadians. I'm with Bakley. EST.
Winnipeg is in Manitoba, not in Alberta.
Yes.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah,
He's from
Jesus.
Texas. He doesn't know.
Yeah.
That's fine. Alberta. Yeah, and that's the thing. I will say this: the only time the nice thing about it is that the provinces will still come up because of wrestling. So Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega, they'll announce Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, but I guess there aren't enough Alberta wrestlers anymore because it used to be.
The Hearts.
Yeah, it's just Natty at this point holding down Calgary.
Oh, that's so depressing.
Are you telling me that there was another wrestler that came out of the Heart Dungeon and fucking Jericho was not the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon? That someone else survived and came out of the Heart Dungeon besides him?
Look,
It's somebody that wrestling fans don't like to talk about anymore. Yes.
What about TJ?
yeah,
that's right.
TJ,
yeah.
TJ is the last survivor of the Heart Dungeon.
I'm very upset about Jericho like fucking Americanizing his history and just writing it the way he feels it should be. Pisses me off, but I will let you go.
Okay.
I know it's late. I appreciate you guys coming on, dude. I had a blast. We'll definitely have you guys back on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I'll
this
be
was
happy to do it.
Great.
I just keep saying that to everyone, and then I realize once a week it ends up being like 6 months from now, but it'll happen.
That's okay.
That's fine.
It will happen again.
If you need people again, let us know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
All right.
You too.
See you.
See you guys. Oh, I guess I could just end